Alright, welcome back to the 4-4 SHU podcast. Today's date of recording is the 23rd of June. This is episode 21. That's Rhys.
Hello.
That over there is Andy.
Hello.
And I am Luke. Follow us on Twitter at 4-4SHU and yeah, Andy, you've got a quiz for us, haven't you?
Indeed I do, sir. Indeed I do.
Let's go.
I've not actually ordered who gets what question, so I'm just going to go back and forth. So
Okay.
you might be getting some Man City questions, Rhys, but I'll try and avoid it.
No.
So we'll start with you, Rhys.
Hit me.
In 2018, who was the Ballon d'Or winner?
The Ballon d'Or winner in 2018 was Luka Modric.
Well done, Rhys. Yes, correct. Obviously after the World Cup heroics.
Yeah, you tried to catch me out.
Yeah, I did. So, Luke,
Yeah.
how many Champions League finals has Cristiano Ronaldo scored? Sorry, how many goals has he scored in the Champions League final? Not how many finals he scored in.
Ooh. A good way to start. How many finals has he been in? 2008. I'm going to say 4.
Oh, get in there, Luke.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Correct. So it's a great
Off
start.
to a flying start here.
That was a
Yeah.
complete guess.
No, fair. That was a very good guess. So, Rhys, which manager has won the most Champions League finals?
Oh my God. Is it Ancelotti?
Well done, Rhys.
Oh,
It is
come on.
The same number as Ronaldo scored. It's also 4.
Wow.
He's won 4 finals, 2 with AC Milan, 2 with Real Madrid.
I was so close to saying Zidane.
Yeah, he won 3 in a row,
Yeah.
didn't he? But so, Luke,
Yeah.
which club has lost the most Champions League finals?
That's a great question.
That is a good question.
What a question that is.
Real Madrid have been in the most finals, but they've also won.
Yeah, they've won so many.
13.
13, I think.
Yeah. See, I'm struggling
I
here.
don't know.
It's going to be quite obscure, I reckon.
I'm just gonna. Is it AC Milan?
No, not a bad guess though. Reese?
Because AC Milan was one of the teams that came up when I was thinking about it. It's a bit of a guess. Is it United?
No, it's not. Do either of you two want another guess, or do you want just the answer?
We're just going to say big teams
Yeah,
back
we're
and
just
forth,
saying
aren't
big
we?
teams. Yeah,
Okay,
go on.
so the answer is Juventus. They lost it 5 times.
Really? Wow.
Mhm. I don't know if they've ever won it. I don't think
Juventus
they
have won it.
Have they?
Yeah.
When did they
it
win
was
it?
it was in like the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Like
I think they've got.
90s.
I think they might have won.
I'm gonna really
Yeah.
quickly look this up. Keep
Yeah.
going. Keep
Alright.
asking you.
Well, who did I ask that to? I asked that to Luke.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, we're going to have to stall a bit. Well, I'll ask you this question,
Ask
Luke.
me and then ask Reese.
Okay, who is the most successful manager in the history of the FA Cup?
Arsene Wenger.
Oh, well in, Luke.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Very well done. Have they won a Champions League? Yeah.
Um,
Or if you're giving up, we'll just move on.
1985, 1996.
Okay. Oh,
1985.
it's a shame that I've asked you this question, Luke, because I would love to ask you the next one. But Reese, this one's for
Oh.
you. What year was the first FA Cup final?
Oh my God. 'Cause the FA Cup goes back.
Yeah, I can also. You can have one guess each, unless you get it.
Can we
spot
do
on.
like who's
But yeah, that's what I was
closest?
going to say. Whoever's closer.
1892.
Okay, and what about you, Lucas?
So it was 126 years ago.
Ooh.
Okay, he's got the point now.
I only
hasn't he?
know that because last year it was the 125th anniversary.
Well, let's see if his maths is any good.
It's not. We're in 2023. Right. Okay. We'll do 120. 2022. 125. Take away 2022.
We're doing a maths quiz.
So 100 take away 2022
Oh my
is 1922.
Oh, I know
Take away
it.
20
I know it.
is 1902. Take away 5 is... Wait. 1902, 1901, 1900, 1899, 1898, 1897. Or have I got that wrong?
Wait, 1897. And what was your guess, Reese?
1892.
Well, Reese is closer. It was actually 1872.
What?
So I mean,
Wait,
they,
have I messed
no,
up
they
somehow?
potentially. Well, they would have stopped doing it when the World War was on.
Oh, yeah,
So you
yeah.
missed those. all those
Oh,
years.
yeah,
Oh, pick up the World War.
I crucially forgot that there was a
oh.
World War involved.
Yeah.
2 World Wars.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. So
One
I'll give a
point.
bonus question because you're not going to get it. Can you name the 2 finalists?
I can name one of them.
Yeah, I know you can name one of them.
Fucking hell.
The winners.
Wait, are you asking that to Luke or me?
Well, both of you. If you
Fine. Total guess. I'm just gonna say like Preston.
Okay, versus.
Preston versus Man United.
Incorrect, Luke.
The Wanderers versus...
Well, Wanderers, yeah.
The Wanderers versus... I don't know who they played. Probably some of a dead team that doesn't exist anymore.
Well, that is factual, yeah.
They don't exist anymore.
No.
Bury.
The Royal Engineers.
Oh, that... I was a big fan of them growing up.
Yeah, what a great final that was. So wait, that was Rhys's question, wasn't it? So, okay, well, this is the question you should be getting, I guess.
Okay.
Luke. Who managed Wigan in their infamous 2013 FA Cup victory?
Oh, I know this.
I don't know it.
Do you not know it?
No, I actually don't.
Can I Roberto Martinez?
Yes, well done, Rhys.
I'm doing
You
all right
storm
this
into a
week.
4-2 lead.
Oh, shit.
This is a question for you, Rhys, that I planned for Luke to have, but
Oh, God.
I don't think you'll
Is
get
it
it.
a City question?
Yeah, who did Man City play in this season's quarter-final of the FA Cup?
Good question. Right, I need to... Burnley.
Incorrect.
No.
Wait, quarterfinal?
Yeah.
It was Burnley.
It was Burnley, wasn't
It was Burnley. Pretty sure.
I remember we were at the Spurs
Charlie
game and we
Nah,
won.
I think that was round 5.
Are you sure?
Okay, let me just check.
Because I'm
Pretty sure it
very...
was Burnley, yeah. Who did we play before Burnley?
There's another team, definitely, but
Burnley.
just bear with me.
Because you played Sheffield in the semis. I went backwards.
Sheffield in the semis.
I'm sure.
Oh,
for
you are
that.
correct. So yeah, you get a point for that.
Yeah.
I actually meant the round before that, but yeah.
Oh,
Wait, so
Wait.
who said that? Rhys, you said that.
Burnley.
Yeah.
Who did
Yeah.
we play in the round before? It's not worth any points, is it?
No, Bristol. Bristol
Bristol.
City. That's the one.
I
that I
would
wanted.
not have got
No,
that.
that was round. Yeah, that was round 5.
Oh, okay, my bad.
It's all right.
So, Luke, this is a bit of a 50-50, so you should be getting a point here. Who scored more league goals this year? Haaland or Chelsea?
Ugh. For a
It's
long
tight,
time,
isn't
for a
it?
long time, it was Haaland.
It's very tight.
Did Chelsea bring it? But no, let's say it's Haaland. Yeah.
You've just thrown away a point there.
Oh, Chelsea did score more.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's why no one gets a point for that.
Ooh.
It was 38 league goals for Chelsea, 36 for Haaland. What an absolute shambles that is. Because I remember seeing tweets saying that he was going to end with more goals.
If
than
it
Chelsea
makes you
and-
feel better, Andy, we got 37, so you got more than us.
No, he's got 36.
Yeah, no.
Oh, so
you
it's
got 38.
Chelsea,
36.
Forest,
Yeah. Haaland.
Haaland, Jesus. Okay, so Rhys, which goalkeeper got the most clean sheets in the Premier League last season? So the season just gone.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Do I? It's not like really obvious, is it?
Can't answer.
No,
no,
it's
no.
not.
What? Luke, you shouldn't
wait,
be.
well, it's really obvious.
Give me like, I'm just going down the table because I forgot who was 4th. Was it Nick Pope?
Incorrect.
David De Gea.
Yes, well done, Luke.
Wow,
That's a big point for this battle.
He's not even had like that good of a season.
Yeah, that's why it's
Exactly,
crazy he's
that's
got
why.
the most clean sheets. But okay, so you need to get this one, Luke.
Right.
And you need the next one as well to only so it's 5-3 at the minute.
Okay.
Oh no.
It's a Manchester City based question.
Oh, of course.
So this could be big. So Manchester City in the Premier League only lost to one team home and away last season. Who was it?
Oh, Brentford.
Yes, well done. I thought I was going to catch you out with that one, I must admit. So yeah, okay. Now this is a Forest-based question for you, Rhys.
Oh god.
And it's something we've talked about all season long, so I
Okay.
think you're going to get it. But hopefully you don't, and then Luke gets it, and then we can have the tiebreaker.
Uh,
But so anyway, how many points did Nottingham Forest pick up on the road in the league last season?
I should be able to get this. You really have to bear with me here.
Yeah, no worries.
7. Just 7.
Incorrect. Luke with the steal.
Oh my god. Oh.
You're
my-
obviously very close.
Yeah.
6.
Oh no!
Is it 8?
It
Yeah,
was
no.
8,
I was
yeah.
thinking like there's definitely one more draw I've missed out.
It was 8. So
God's sake.
Rhys, you've won the quiz. 5-4.
Can we have the
Yeah, I was going to say, do you want the
Limbs,
tiebreaker
yeah.
anyway?
Yeah.
Extend my lead.
So it's a question that only one of you can really answer. So if you know it, go for it. Or, otherwise, one of you can just guess. But whoever's quicker, even though it doesn't really matter anyway. So who finished higher in the Premier League last season? West Ham or Bournemouth?
Bournemouth.
No, West Ham.
No.
There was 1 point in it. But the whole point of that question was that you don't really remember who finishes 13th and 14th.
Yeah. You remember there was a point where like West Ham were in a lot of danger and Bournemouth were like clear, and I thought it might have stayed like that. But
yeah. Well, no, that's the end of our bumper quiz. So well done, Rhys.
Well played.
And also, I don't know if you noticed at home, but all those questions were based on the 3 trophies Manchester City have won this year: the Champions League, the FA Cup, and the Premier League, which we will get onto later.
No international questions.
No. Yeah, that's a bit poor. Should have said who scored for Ireland. You wouldn't have had a clue. But so yeah, this week's podcast is going to be a bit different to usual. We're all going to go through our club's season and look at the players that we think will be there next year, players we're going to sell, and all that good stuff. And I'm going to start with Chelsea because I have made lots of notes. So please try and not yawn, Luke. But yeah, so the way I broke it down is just done it by positions, and the obvious place to start is goalkeeper because Chelsea need to bring in a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
So there's a few names. There's not really a front runner for who Chelsea are actually going to be going for, but I've done it with... I'm trying to be as realistic as possible, but then I also want players that I want to come in. So my obvious pick would be Mike
Maigen.
Yeah, Mike Mion, I think he's pronounced.
Good,
the AC Milan goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I don't know how realistic that is. The other goalkeepers out there, obviously Onana, but he seems to be off to Man United.
Yeah. I feel like Serie A is quite easy to take from like a big Premier League team.
Yeah, but I don't know. Apparently Chelsea think that Onana's too expensive, but you're talking about like 50 million. It's not. It's not too bad, especially how we've got players into Milan want. You think it, but so then that's another option. David Raya for Brentford,
he's linked
potentially.
I think Spurs is who he's in talks with.
Yeah, no, Spurs have just signed a different goalkeeper.
Who have they signed?
I'll have to check on my phone later because I was going to mention it anyway. But they've signed someone from the Serie A that was like a lower level.
Oh, okay.
So God knows how good he's going to be. But because Brentford apparently want 40 million for David Raya, so obviously that's quite a lot. And then the other choice for Chelsea is that Costa
from
Porto goalkeeper.
Porto, yeah.
Diego Costa.
Yeah, Diego, I think it is. Yeah. But so anyway, so Chelsea need a new goalkeeper. I'm going to say Mike Mion, hopefully.
Yeah, good
and
shout.
then Mendy's obviously being sold to the Saudi Arabian League, which I'm not that happy about. Like, I think if it was between selling Mendy and Kepa, I would be selling Kepa.
Yeah. I saw something on Twitter about Poch wants Kepa as his number one.
Yeah,
that's so weird that so many managers are like...
Yeah,
I don't know if I believe that necessarily. Like, my prediction that we'll get onto later for Chelsea next year is based on the fact that we're going to have a better goalkeeper than Kepa in net, hopefully. Yeah. But yeah, so Mendy's been great. Like, for a year, he was unreal. And then he has dropped off a lot, but... People say Kepa had a good year last year, but the standard for Kepa is so low that his good year is a bad year for Ederson or Alisson, which is the kind of calibre of goalkeeper Chelsea should be comparing themselves to. So yeah, I really hope Kepa's not the number one. And then obviously Marcus Bettinelli, he's living the dream.
Oh, you should give him a go.
Yeah, we've mentioned him on the podcast a few times, but obviously like third choice goalkeepers, as Man City have got with
Scott Carson.
Yeah, Scott Carson. You just live in the dream, aren't you? So there's not really much to say about him.
Why does Charlie not want him at Luton?
He probably doesn't know who he is, potentially. I don't know. I think he's played for England before, though.
Who?
Bettinelli, I think so.
Wow.
Or maybe not, I don't know. That might be...
Oh, yeah, no, you're right, because he was Fulham number one ages ago, so maybe.
Yeah, potentially. And then right-backs for Chelsea, obviously Rhys James, goes without saying. You're going to keep him. He had a bit of a shaky year last year, but who didn't for Chelsea?
Yeah. He was injured a lot of the time.
Yeah, he was injured, which is quite worrying as well, because, I'll say it now, so I would say that you'd sell Azpilicueta this summer as well. I think it's time to move him on. Like, he's been a great servant, but I just don't... We've also signed someone called Gusto, who's another right-back, so you don't want three right-backs in your squad. So, yeah, I think it's definitely time for Azpilicueta to move on, even though he's been a great servant. And this statistic is insane. So I had to write it down, that he's been at Chelsea for 11 years, and in that time, he's only missed 12 games through illness or injury.
Wow. Nice.
Rhys James missed more games last season for Chelsea than... Azpilicueta is so consistent, but the level's dropped now, so I think it's time to push him on to like a Barcelona or somewhere in Spain. It's funny though, if you have a Spanish player, you always think, they'll go to Spain, but it's usually how it goes, isn't it?
It is normally how it goes.
So yeah, Rhys James and Gusto. I don't really know much about Gusto. We've signed him from Lyon. See what happens. Like, it's also a weird one. He's probably not going to play much, especially if Rhys James is at the level and consistency that he should be.
But what about Gusto's brother? Hello Fresh.
Oh my god.
Jesus, Luke. I was like, if you know who his brother is, fair enough. Like, unbelievable ball knowledge, but of course it was just a meme.
It's a joke about food companies.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. But so yeah, left back is very debatable, and Chelsea have 4 left backs on the books. Which,
oh yeah, you do. Don't
well,
you?
5 if we're including Baba Rahman, but like he needs to just go. Like, he's not good enough. But so I've gone with what I would want it to be next year. Not necessarily what I think it will be, but so Ben Chilwell, I think he gets a lot of stick online, but I think he's a good left back. Like,
I like him.
I don't really understand. Like, he's had some bad moments, but like, who hasn't?
Yeah.
So yeah, Ben Chilwell, I would say as the starting left back for the start of the season at least. And then I've said, you're going to be happy about this, Luke. I've said to put Ian Maatsen in the squad after a great loan spell at Burnley.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's 21 years old compared to Lewis Halls, who's 18.
And Lewis Hall, who isn't really a left back, is more of a centre mid, isn't he?
Well, he's a bit of a mix between the
he
two,
can
but
do
he's
the
looked
both,
very
but
good
yeah.
at left back. But
Yeah.
I think Maatsen's at the age now where, like,
He's
if he
ready
is going to get a
yeah.
chance, it should be now. Like, obviously, he has been in the Championship with Burnley, but if he's going to be competing for Chilwell, I feel like that makes sense. That's good competition.
Yeah, it's not like he's under pressure to be the starter either.
Yeah,
Sort of
exactly
work
that.
his
Yeah,
way
like
in. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
He could just be implemented very slowly. And then so yeah, I'd say Lewis Hall should get a season on loan, probably a Championship team, and just develop
idea.
that way rather than play 6 games for Chelsea next year.
that won't
and-
help.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, but this also all depends on if Chelsea can sell Cucurella, which I don't know if we necessarily could, but we don't even necessarily have to sell him this summer, as long as we could loan him out somewhere.
Yeah,
Hopefully-
we'll have him. We'll have him.
Yeah, no, but like, obviously he's had a terrible year. We've signed him for 60 million. It didn't really make much sense signing him at the time anyway. Like, it's not a position we needed, especially when you look at Lewis Hall and Maatsen on the books already as well. But
Is Maatsen not? You might know more than me. Is Maatsen not? He's not going back to Burnley.
oh, no, that's the thing.
For a
Like, I
second round.
should have mentioned that. Yeah, like, this is what I want it to be, Chilwell and Maatsen, but I think Maatsen's going to get sold to Burnley or loaned to Burnley and
He might get
potentially,
second.
like
loan to
Man
Burnley
City
again.
did with Lavia, that you sell him and then have a buyback clause. I think something like that could
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
But, which I'll get onto later, Chelsea have a lot of sales lined up at the minute. So if I was in charge and Maatsen's not going to be in the squad, I'd at least loan him. I don't think we need to sell him right now. Like,
No, I agree.
let him have a Prem season with Burnley,
Yeah.
where company loves him. Like, so yeah, I'm saying Chilwell and Maatsen, but I think it could be Chilwell and Cucurella again for another year. But
If we're being realistic, that's what I'd go for as well.
well, it's not what you'd go. It's like the
Well-
problem with Cucurella is like you probably won't be able to shift him.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a fresh slate. We've got Poch in, so I mean, I guess it's
Give
not
him
the end
another
of the world.
chance. Yeah.
But so yeah, that's the left back, and then centre backs is a lot easier to go through. So Wesley Fofana stays. Not really much you need to say about him. He had a injury-bound year last year, but there's obviously quality there.
Yeah, we need to give him time. I mean, how old is he?
21.
Yeah,
maybe.
exactly. So he's still young.
Yeah, Fofana, don't really need to say much about him. Badiashile, arguably Bowley's best signing, because we signed him without anyone knowing anything about him realistically,
Yeah.
and he's looked very good since
Yeah.
coming in. So he stays, obviously, without, like, there's no debate about that. Thiago Silva, I think this could potentially be his last year if he manages minutes right. That he shouldn't be starting every week.
No.
I think Fofana and Badiashile should be starting every week. And then, yeah, you have Thiago Silva as, like, he'll come in for bigger games, potentially, or cup games or whatever. So, yeah, those three, I think that's definitely going to be all our centre-backs. But then you've also got Levi Colwell, who, there's a lot of talk he's going to be in the squad next year.
Yeah, because he's just been at Brighton. hasn't
Yeah, he's had a decent spell. Well, we were talking about it yesterday. He had a good loan spell, but he also was quite injury
he? Yeah.
prone.
Yeah.
It's one of them. Same with like Maatsen, like just bed him in.
Yeah,
slowly.
no, I
Yeah.
agree, yeah. But then I did say to you yesterday as well that Levi Colwell's done some suspect things since being on loan. Like, he did an interview with The Athletic saying that he forgot he was a Chelsea player still. That's muggy.
Yeah.
He did a really poorly timed tweet when Chelsea just got smacked by Man United, and he was tweeting out, like, laughing with Billy Gilmore. It just looked like he was a dig at the club, but
Even if it wasn't, like, it's just not very well thought out.
yeah, it's poorly timed, isn't it? But all this gets forgotten about, as soon as he starts playing, though. Like,
Yeah, if he starts playing well, then
it's not even if he's playing well.
Or
Like,
just-
he is an academy graduate, so you want the best for him,
Yeah.
and you just got to sort of forget about those things. So yeah, that would obviously give Chelsea 4 centre-backs, which sounds like a lot, but then you also think Thiago Silva's probably not going to be playing that much. I've already said that Fofana and Colwell are kind of injury-prone. So for me, I think Chelsea should have another centre-back in there as well. I'd potentially keep Chalobah for another year.
He looked good. I remember both times we played you, I think, well, at least
Yeah.
the second time, he looked really good.
He played right back against
Yeah,
Forest,
yeah,
didn't he?
yeah.
That
No,
was-
he covers a lot of ground. I don't know. Obviously, you've seen him more than me, but
Well, he's either hot or cold. Like, he's had some great moments. Like, I remember the cup
Yeah.
final against Liverpool last year. He played on after having a groin injury. He
Yeah.
banged in a penalty. Like, he obviously cares about the club. He's quite happy being a squad player. Well, not happy, but he'll do a job.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, how old is he?
maybe 22, 23.
So again, still with the young players, I feel like you can have a bit of
Yeah, and as an
leniency.
academy graduate as well. Like, he
You want
obviously,
yeah.
you would think he's got the club's best interests at heart.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say Chalobah, you keep him for one more year as well, because the other player I was going to debate we could potentially keep, but obviously you sent me a tweet the other day, Luke, that I'd already seen, that Ethan Ampadu, I was
Yeah.
going to say he could do a job, but I think it looks like he's getting sold now, which is
Yeah.
fair enough, because he's never really had the opportunities at Chelsea.
Yeah, he's been
No.
at Chelsea forever. It feels
Yeah,
like.
he's just had a good loan spell in Italy, playing every week, so he probably just wants to keep playing.
get
Yeah.
regular football.
And by the sounds of it, he's going to get another good move. Like, well, he didn't have a good move, he was in Italy, but like, apparently he's going to be like a top Italian team next. So
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
For
I mean,
him.
yeah, fair enough to him. And then the big sale that should be going through any day now is Koulibaly is going to get sold to the Saudi Arabian League.
Mm.
I don't really have much to say about it. It's not great that I've already said Cucurella and Koulibaly need to go. They were two of last season's
Yeah,
signings.
yeah.
But Koulibaly, but both their levels have been so low that just get him off the wage book, really. I would have maybe argued that we could give him another year, but considering he's already going to the Saudi Arabian League,
Yeah.
you do
Yeah.
you, son. So yeah, that's all the defence. And then in midfield, this is where it gets a bit tricky, because Chelsea's midfield is going to look completely different next year to how it looked last season. So the people that I think should definitely stay, Enzo Fernandez. He was bought for such a big price tag, but that price tag never gets brought up.
It was like
So-
120 mil.
Yeah,
wasn't
so
it?
what I
Yeah.
mean by that is that he's obviously such a good player that when you're doing well, people don't say, oh, you spent all this money on Kepa or whoever, because
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
actually
yeah.
doing well. So yeah, Enzo Fernandez goes without saying, he's staying. I would keep Conor Gallagher in the squad as a squad player. Like, he's
Yeah.
hard working. He had a poor first year, but like, he puts himself about and he obviously cares.
Yeah.
So I think if it was as a squad player, I'd keep him. And then this is where it gets interesting. Caicedo, I'm going to assume that he's going to be at Chelsea next year, which
Okay.
is a big assumption because Brighton are probably getting fed up of Chelsea knocking on their door
Yeah.
and taking all their best players. But I just think it's a player that would perfectly suit us. I was looking and he's only had one proper full season. Like, I think he's played 40 league games or something in his career, which isn't much.
Yeah.
Or
so
professional league games,
it's
I
a
guess.
gamble.
It is a gamble, but if you look at how good he looked for Brighton and like,
Oh, he was. They're probably their
Yeah,
best
but
player last season.
Cucurella looked good for Brighton
Yeah,
the
I know.
season before.
I know, but I can't
But-
live in fear for the rest of
Yeah.
my life, Luke, that we're going to get scammed by Brighton again. But yeah, no, so I think Caicedo would be a good player. Like, he's got a bit of an engine on him, gets himself about, pretty good defensively, which we need someone
He's just
that can,
he's a great all-round player.
Yeah, I
and I
think
feel like
he
he
is an
could,
all-round
if
player.
he's at his best, he could revolutionize any team. he
especially
plays
him
for.
and Fernandes next to each other. I think that would be beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I've also said that we should bring in Lavia from Southampton. I'm not 100% sold on him, but if he was coming in as he'd get decent minutes, but not starting every week, I think that could be a good
Yeah.
a good signing. And then there's another player which you two probably haven't even heard of called Gabri Veiga.
I've heard the name.
Oh,
I
have
don't
you?
really
Wow.
know anything about him.
So he plays for Celta Vigo, and apparently Pochettino wants him. So I mean, that's good enough for me
Yeah.
to think bring him
His,
in.
his judgment's very good when it comes to
Yeah,
younger players.
and obviously there I have literally said that Chelsea are going to be bringing in 3 midfielders, which sounds crazy because that's going to be what, like 150 million, whatever. But I will get onto in a minute. There's going to be some big sales as well, which everyone already knows about.
You need more outgoings.
We also have 2 youngsters that we've signed for like a fair bit of money, Andre Santos and I don't know what the other guy's called, Caicedo or something. He's an Italian guy who was on loan at Reading last year. I think potentially one of them could, if they had a good pre-season, they could take Lavia's spot in terms of if they were so good, we'd be like, oh, we
Yeah.
don't necessarily need to buy
Yeah.
him. They should both get a pre-season and see what happens there. With young players, they're going to be happy playing here and there, I guess. And then here's one, Luke, that you might disagree with, but
Okay.
Carney Chukwuemeka, I'm
Right.
saying to loan him out for a year because realistically, this last season's been such a waste of time for him.
I was
that
going to say.
he's
Yeah,
hardly
he's
played,
at all.
which is frustrating considering our season's been over since you could argue November. You think the academy, he's not an academy player, but the younger
Try
players,
and work them into the squad.
give them some minutes, because he played at Old Trafford at a game I went to, and he was so good.
Yeah.
And then he got dropped for, I think Forest might be the next game or something. Whoever we played next, he got dropped for. Yeah. Which was frustrating.
If a young player has a good game, give him a run. That's when you need to pounce and get the best out of them.
Like you did for Noni.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you just need a run of games.
So do you reckon you could loan him to a Prem team or more like
Championship?
Championship?
That's the thing. I don't know what. Well, I mean, realistically, not to be rude, but I feel like Luton Town would take him. So but then it's also the thing of would you want him to be at a higher Championship team or a lower Prem team? Potentially a higher Championship team.
Championship team, I think is probably a better
If you're winning games every week, it's better than...
Yeah, so... But I've not really thought about it, but maybe like a Leicester, if they sell Maddison or something, they need a midfielder.
That's a good idea.
Southampton, if they sold Ward-Prowse. Obviously, they're the kind of calibre of teams. Maybe Blackburn Rovers, that would be beautiful. I could go and watch him.
Yeah, Lewis would love that.
Yeah, but so that's someone I think we should definitely loan out, rather than do what I said to Andre Santos, who is this younger player. He can get squad minutes next year.
Yeah, exactly.
Carney can go and develop like he should be, hopefully.
I agree.
And then, so, it goes without saying, don't really even need to mention it, but we had someone called Zachariah in on loan last year. That's not going to be renewed. He was okay for us, but I'm not too fussed that he's going.
He's do better, yeah.
Yeah, he seemed all right, though. He put in a lot of effort when he played, but yeah, it is what it is. N'Golo Kante's just signed in Saudi Arabia, which I thought back, and I remember when we had Ben on the podcast, Luke, that I was kind of debating it then, because there was talk then that Chelsea were about to give him a 3-year deal. I didn't think that sounded like a great idea then.
Injury record.
His injury record's the only reason why I wouldn't keep him. I love the guy. He's been such a good player for us. But I do kind of think it makes sense for him to leave now, especially how he's on 300 grand a week.
Yeah.
We've saved that on wages.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, he's had a great career, hasn't he?
Yeah. Love you, N'Golo, but I feel like...
It's time.
I think it's time to go. And then one player which we'll discuss in more detail when we go on to Manchester City's incomings, Kovacic. Obviously, he is set to join Manchester City. He's doing his medical today, according to Fabrizio Romano. I'm quite surprised we're selling him. But, I mean, I'll leave my thoughts on him until we talk on for Man City. But, he is being sold. So, then we're talking about Kante, Zachariah, Kovacic. That's already 3 midfielders that are getting sold, so that's obviously why we need a few incomings. Yeah. Loftus-Cheek looks like he's going to get sold.
About time.
I really like Loftus-Cheek. As a squad player,
I just feel like he's never really established himself.
Well, he did for Sarri, 18-19 season, which I know is a long time ago, but then he had an ACL injury, and that really hampered him.
Yeah, that's always going to hinder any player.
I'd rather have Loftus-Cheek than Gallagher as a squad player, but I just don't think it's as realistic. He's 28 now or something. He's going to want to play. Yeah, he never complains about being a squad player. He's had some great moments. I remember he played right wing back for Chelsea at the Bernabeu for Thomas Tuchel and played great. I have a lot of time. I have a lot of time for Loftus-Cheek. He puts himself about. He obviously loves the club, so fair enough. And then here's someone that I used to think loved the club, but clearly he doesn't as much as he said he did. Mason Mount. I feel like
here we go.
This is one that we should debate, but for me, I've always backed Mason Mount. When most people, especially Twitter people, they're like, "Oh, what does he do? He's rubbish." He has some very good qualities to him, his pressing.
I agree, Mason Mount.
Yeah, he's got a decent long shot on him, and there's a lot of egg on Chelsea's face at the minute because this is a player that's came through the academy that we've made banners for, saying that this is all his dream to play for Chelsea and stuff. But then there's talk coming out saying that apparently Manchester United have launched their final bid today for Mason Mount. I don't know if I believe that because Manchester United always would eventually pay more if they needed to, like Harry Maguire. So I think they are there to be exploited a little bit. But Mason Mount's put Chelsea in a really awkward position with a year left on his contract. He said he's not going to renew it. He doesn't want to be here, apparently. We just need to sell him. I just don't get it, though. If you're an academy player playing at your boyhood club, which, to be fair, it's not really his boyhood club. He supports Portsmouth, but he's been at Chelsea since... No, but he's been at Chelsea since, 8 or something. No. So you think there'd be some effect. He's won a Champions League with Chelsea. I don't understand why he wants to go to Man United. It is a bit muggy, but at the end of the day, I've just got to move on. Bigger players than Mason Mount have left Chelsea. It's going to be a bit weird watching him at Man United.
Yeah, I mean, he's replaceable. Let's
is,
be-
and as well, like we'd be getting a decent fee for him. Like, say even if it's 50 million for someone that has got a year left on his contract, that
It's
you'd
not
rather
bad
take
at
50
all.
million for Mason Mount now than lose him next year for nothing. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm very surprised by that, but the club moves on. Another big surprise, which I've put him down as a midfielder, but that's only because that's where Arsenal are apparently going to be playing him. Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz is set to join Arsenal.
That is such a weird move.
It is very odd, and I think the worst thing about it is he scored in the Champions League final for Chelsea to win Chelsea a Champions League, and the fans still don't really care that he's leaving. He's got his name in the history books because he scored in the Champions League final, scored in the Club World Cup final, so he's won 2 major trophies for Chelsea.
Club World Cup's not a major trophy.
It will be when you win it, son.
No, it will not. I don't like it.
But don't you like the Community Shield?
I don't like it, but it's...
The Club World Cup's sick.
something.
No, I don't like it. But anyway, carry on.
We'll debate that in January time when Manchester City have just won it.
Oh, no, I can't be arsed with the little ugly badge in the middle. Ugh.
Oh, it's lovely.
I hate it. I didn't like when Liverpool had it. And
I don't think
Real
I've seen it.
Madrid, when they had it like above the Adidas badge, I was like, right, okay, that's all right. But like in the middle, I absolutely...
I'm pretty sure Chelsea had it in the middle
I
as well.
can't stand it. Like it's not against you. I didn't like when Liverpool have it. I don't like
No, fair enough. But anyway, that was a very minor point.
Sorry.
We'll debate that
I just
tournament
think it's
later.
I just think it's Tim Pot playing teams from...
Well, I just
wherever.
like the fact that you're playing from countries that you don't play before. Like Chelsea played a Saudi Arabian team, we played a South American
We're
team.
probably going to play Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
team.
it's not. I wouldn't say it's. To me, I put it on the level of like the FA Cup or something.
No, it's not as good as the
nice to
FA
win.
Cup.
Really?
The FA Cup's got so much
Okay,
history.
yeah, fair. No, my point is that it's like I wouldn't really brag about us being world champions.
But like that is the fact. Like Manchester City are currently European champions.
Yeah, but
when they
it's-
win that tournament, they'll be world champions.
It's a 4-team tournament,
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
a 4-team tournament.
No, there's more
It's
than 4
basically
teams in it.
just
Is there? Are they changing
Yeah.
the format? Because I'm sure it used to be 4 teams.
Well, no, like the lesser teams have to do loads of qualifiers. Anyway,
Oh,
this is all
okay,
so
yeah.
irrelevant right now. Let's go back to Kai Havertz quickly.
Kai
So,
Havertz.
So
oh yeah, go on.
I was just going to say, to me, how many teams outside of Europe have won it? It's basically just a cherry on top for winning the Champions
Yeah.
League. I don't see it as
true.
major.
But Chelsea
Yeah.
lost it in 2013. They lost it to
2013,
Corinthians,
10 years.
and I'm still butthurt about it.
Yeah.
We lost to Corinthians.
Yeah. All right, carry on though.
So
Havertz.
anyway, Kai Havertz scored in the Champions League final. I think a good way to describe this move is he's falling upwards. Like, I don't know how
Yeah.
he's gone from struggling at Chelsea to getting a move to Arsenal, who are
Gonna be
currently at a better
Yeah.
position than Chelsea are. Like,
It's such a weird move, but again, Arteta has been able to develop, young players. Like Jesus and Zinchenko were good, but no one expected like with Zinchenko.
yeah, the
particularly.
levels. True.
So maybe Arteta could bring out the best in him.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is the worry that he could potentially go on to be
Yeah,
a bit better. But I think for the 65 million, Chelsea have just got to take that fee and just hope he doesn't develop into another.
It's just the fact he's changing position at Arsenal, really, because he's obviously
he
playing.
playing at Arsenal?
They're going to
Like
play him
left
like mid.
centre mid,
Yeah, like
it's
centre
like
mid.
number 10.
But like at Chelsea, he's been more of a 9, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So-
false 9.
Well, like a 10 or an 8, because
Well, what-
obviously Odegaard's.
what
yeah,
was-
they've got Odegaard.
What was he in the Bundesliga?
He was a 10.
So if he's back to
I
a
think
10,
he played false 9 sometimes.
Yeah,
as well.
we'll see. I
But
guess.
yeah,
do
the
centre
Arsenal move's a
forward.
bit of a weird one. But people are saying, like, oh, he could be another De Bruyne Salah. The difference is he's had 3 years of first-team football at Chelsea to prove himself.
Yeah.
And obviously he has won Chelsea Champions League, but he's not
That's
been
it.
consistent.
That's
like,
it. Apart from that, what's he done?
Yeah. You know what, though? I'll discuss it later, but he looked very good against Dortmund in the Champions League over 2 legs.
Yes,
I
he
think
did.
in European games,
He turns up for
looks
big
good.
occasion, and obviously
Yeah.
with Arsenal being in the Champions League, that could be.
Yeah. But overall, I'd say Chelsea have done quite well out of
Yeah,
that deal.
Yeah, from an Arsenal point of view, I don't really see why they've signed him. If they've got,
No, I agree.
If they've got Trossard as well, who can. Sort
Yeah,
of
I
play
don't
for
really
Arsenal.
They just need depth, really.
I guess so. Yeah.
Well, you
but,
don't
like,
sign someone for depth like that.
65 mil,
Yeah,
like,
but
that's
again, I
good
feel
depth.
like in the
Maybe it's the level you need.
because I feel like City have like 2 squads almost.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that-
true.
That's the precedent that's been set.
Yeah.
Particularly now, there's more subs as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's not a terrible move by any means.
but it's just a bit. It's not what you'd expect.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
expect
it's a bit
it.
odd, but he could end up being a good signing. But
We'll
it's
see.
annoying it's at Arsenal, though, because he was linked with Real Madrid. When he was linked with Real Madrid, I was like, great, get him out of the league. We'll get decent. Like, I'd rather sell him to Real Madrid for less money.
Yeah.
Just so we don't get
again,
mugged off.
You don't have to hear
The
about
fact
it.
Real Madrid wanted him was bizarre, but
Well, he's obviously got talent. It's
He's
just
got a great.
it
he's
just
great
hasn't.
talent.
Yeah, maybe Chelsea just isn't the fit for him. But
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It could be the environment.
Yeah.
Like sometimes a player leaves a club, goes on somewhere else, and does a lot better. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, that's enough Kai Havertz chat. Then some other players that should definitely be sold. We're talking about wingers now. Ziyech, he's about to join the Saudi Arabian League as well. I don't really
not a
care.
big loss, is it?
Yeah, he was great at Ajax. He had some good moments
Yeah.
at Chelsea. but thanks for your time. It's a bit of a shame that he didn't end up going to PSG on loan.
Yeah, that fell through at the last minute, didn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, Ziyech, you've had a very mediocre Chelsea career.
That's a shame. After how good he was at Ajax,
Yeah.
I was expecting a lot more from him.
I bet you'll see a lot of him in Saudi Arabia, though, in terms of, like, when he was at Ajax, you'd see clips of him with so much space, and then he'd ping a ball. I remember there was one where he just pinged it. And it was
Oh, yeah. I've
that
seen
one.
the video.
But, like,
Yeah, we might get that time and space in the.
He should
Saudi
do,
league.
yeah.
He's
Like-
rip it to pieces.
yeah, and then Pulisic, another player I think we should sell or loan out, like, very mediocre as well at Chelsea.
Yeah.
He's had injuries and maybe not played as much as he wanted to, but I can't really think of too many big
I'm
moments
gonna
he's
say
had.
he had a good. Was it the 18-19 that season? But
yeah.
obviously,
Well, lockdown. No, it was
No, it was
lockdown. He went on
19-20,
a really good
19-20.
run of form. Like, he was
Yeah.
scoring. He was like my number 1 FPL pick.
yeah, like, and he was sick, but that was 3 years ago. You know,
and
it's one
it's
of
behind
these.
closed doors, it doesn't really count.
less pressure
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah, like there's no pressure on you, so I feel that's why he did well potentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, Pulisic, there's talk that he's going to go out on loan to AC Milan. I think that's fine. Just go on loan spell. If he has a great loan, we'll be like, oh, we could look
Yeah,
at him
could give
differently
him another
next year.
chance,
But
yeah.
he needs to get out of Chelsea, I'd say. And then the three wingers that I'd say we should definitely keep, I don't really need to say much about them. Mudryk, Madueke, Raheem Sterling. I'd say Mudryk and Madueke both have had decent-ish half seasons. Mudryk
what
looked
you
a bit
expect-
shaky.
What
More
you
time.
expected,
They
yeah.
just need more time, I think.
Yeah.
Madueke's looked better than Mudryk, but maybe
Yeah.
that's the less pressure of a smaller price tag.
Yeah.
Sterling, I'd say he's had a poor first season at Chelsea, but I think we just have to stick with him. And he showed his quality at times, like against Nottingham Forest.
Yeah,
He scored some
two.
good. Yeah, the
One of them
second
was
goal was
really
really
nice,
good.
yeah.
It's also a thing of what are the expectations on him. I think if he scored 10 league goals next year, I would be happy with that. If we had a few players chipping in with 10, 15, a couple of
Yeah.
assists, stuff like that. So
I think he'll do well next season, especially with you've signed in Cuckoo now.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
going to be huge for you, I reckon.
So yeah, you could argue that Sterling just came into Chelsea at a bad time. So that, like,
I'd say so.
I wouldn't be too fussed if a big team came in and offered us big money for him this summer, but that's not going to happen. So we'll keep him for another year, see what happens.
Nice.
Hudson-Odoi needs to be sold. He's just not developed into the player that Bayern Munich thought he was going
Yeah,
to when
'cause
they were
he-
bidding 40 million
He
for
went,
him.
he went to a Leverkusen and he got like 1 assist.
Yeah, it did nada.
Yeah.
Like, it's bleak.
Yeah.
And I did at one point think, you could keep him around as a squad player, but there's a reason why I have gone off that idea, and this is thanks to a YouTube video that I watched, I must admit.
It's not the one I'm thinking of, is it?
Why, which one?
Mad Komodo.
Oh, no.
You saw. If you haven't watched Mad Komodo on YouTube,
yes.
game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. We'll might put a link in the
Yeah,
description.
you don't need Match of the Day for highlights anymore. I'll say that.
No.
No, but so anyway, I watched this video of who Chelsea could sign, and they suggested Elise from Palace.
Mm-hmm.
I think that could be a great signing, because if we signed him as well, we'd have two right wingers in him and Madueke, and then Sterling and Mudryk as left wing options, and they're all a bit interchangeable as well. So I think Elise could be a great signing, depending on the price you're talking about. He had a good he had a good season, with Palace.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say bring him in if possible. That would be very exciting.
Yeah.
And then obviously, Nkunku, he's came in. It's an exciting signing, but with Chelsea's Bundesliga record, I'm keeping my expectations quite low. I also think with him, if he got 10 league goals as well as Sterling getting 10 and a few others getting 10, I'd say he's done all right.
Yeah.
He's kind of a player similar to Havertz and Werner in the sense of you don't really know what his best position is, which kind of worries me because I'm just thinking they've struggled at Chelsea so long, not knowing where they're best at. You could argue he potentially would play in a 10 for Poch's team if that's the way we're going to set up, and Cuckoo. Yeah, I don't know.
If you're starting Cuckoo as a 10, who are you starting as a 9?
Yeah, we'll get onto that in a minute, Luke.
Oh,
but,
okay.
But yes, great question. Yeah, you could also use him as a false 9 as well, but I'm just kind of fed up with Chelsea having a false 9 that isn't very good at football.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Cuckoo, I don't know. It's exciting, but I'm not going to say too much about it because I don't actually know too much about him myself. Just thought I'd mention, obviously, João Felix's loan spell isn't being renewed. At first, he was so good. I think in a great team, he'd look a great player.
I agree.
Simeone's team doesn't fit him either because they're too defensive. He's not going to come back and do much defensively.
Yeah.
But then I also kind of think I'm a bit indecisive about him. I'm not too fussed. We've not ended up making him permanent. He seemed to really enjoy being at Chelsea, which is great. But if we're talking about another £80 million signing, I'd spend that money elsewhere.
Fair.
But Felix, the same way I'm saying about Havertz, he could come back to haunt us if he went to... He was thinking with Newcastle, if he went there and tore the league up, everyone would be saying, why didn't Chelsea sign him? But, yeah, João Felix is what it is.
Good player, but...
Yeah, exciting, good to watch.
Yeah.
And I will definitely be keeping track of his career, see where he goes next. Like, I don't think he'll stay at Atletico Madrid. So
I hope not.
Be interesting to see where he goes.
He's been there... Well, he signed like a 7-year contract.
Yeah, he did,
When he signed there from... was it Benfica?
Benfica,
Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah.
Which was like mad at the time. That was like huge. I think that was like quite a while ago now. Was that 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah, but he signed an extension when he went to Chelsea as well.
Oh,
so.
did he?
Yeah, so,
That's
Felix, good player. See what happens to him.
Yeah.
Then there's a few players I'm just going to rattle off that should definitely be sold. Aubameyang, it's not worked out. And
I forgot he played for you. I genuinely forgot he played for you.
Well, yeah, no, that's fair. But the thing is as well, I remember this time last year when Chelsea were linked with him, I was excited about it. I thought he'd had a good time at Barcelona, but the main reason why I was excited about it is because him and Tuchel had worked together and they had a great relationship. Then, after one game together, Tuchel gets sacked.
Yeah.
Because we signed him on deadline day and then Tuchel got sacked the game after. It's a bit of a pointless one. We really shouldn't be keeping him. I don't think we will keep him either. Like, if we couldn't find anyone to buy him, I think we'd just terminate his contract. Like, we bought him for like 10 million or something, but that's not much for Chelsea, really.
Fair.
So yeah, Aubameyang, and as well, I do want to say as well, I feel like he's came across quite well in this period. Like, he's not been complaining about the fact he's been frozen out. He was left out of the Champions League squad. He's just kept his head down.
It's quite surprising though, because like at Arsenal, there was a big like song and dance about it.
Very surprising, yeah. Like,
so.
But then you could say maybe he's learnt from the way he acted at Arsenal was obviously not right.
And he's just sort of.
So maybe now he's thought,
yeah.
But yeah, so that's Aubameyang. The big one, which is Chelsea's biggest conundrum of the summer, is Romelu Lukaku.
Oh, the Champions League final superstar, yeah.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about his performance in the final when we talk about Manchester City's treble, but Lukaku, he needs to not be wearing a Chelsea shirt next year. He's came out and said he doesn't want to be here. He's obviously done that interview in the past.
The relationship's so tainted now.
Yeah, it's soured way too much. And if he had apologised properly and stuff, maybe you could argue Chelsea need a striker. Maybe he could have another year, but I really don't want to see that. And if that does end up being the case, I'm just going to ignore every goal he scores. But no, I don't know. But there was talks of him going to the Saudi Arabian League. He doesn't want to. Fair enough, I respect that. You want to stay in Europe. You're only 30 years old. You're also on fire for your country. Like Belgium, he's the all-time top scorer.
Yeah.
There's obviously a player in there somewhere. He wants to go back to Inter, and that's also fine with me now. Like, that's obviously a very special club for him. Fair enough. But he's moaning about the fact that Chelsea don't want to give Inter another cheap loan, because he went on loan last season to Inter Milan for, let's say, maybe 8 million or something. I don't know, I can't remember the figures, but let's say it was 8 million. He wants another loan like that. But realistically, Chelsea have bought you for 100 million.
Yeah. And you've done nada.
From Inter Milan, so it's the same club. They've still got that money.
Yeah.
They should be paying maybe, you could argue, 40 or 50 million, which still isn't much, but if they want you that badly, they should be buying you.
Yeah, exactly.
But Chelsea are kind of in a position where if the only option is a loan spell to Inter Milan again, you kind of have to do it. You have to bite the bullet. So yeah, Lukaku should not be at Chelsea next year. Chelsea have been very strongly linked with a player that I didn't know anything about personally, so I doubt either of you two did either, called Nico Jackson from Villarreal.
I've watched him play a few times.
Wow.
Actually, he played for Spain at the World Cup. I'm sure he did.
He's not Spanish.
Oh, wait, what? Wait, no, he played the World Cup for someone, didn't he?
He's from an African country.
Is he? Okay, ignore me.
Maybe you saw him in...
Oh, no, I'm thinking of... No, ignore me. I'm thinking of Nico Williams. Because
Yeah.
The Welsh guy.
No. There's a Spanish guy
for
called Nico
Atletico
Williams.
Bilbao.
Yeah, and that's why... Okay, ignore me.
No, so Nico Jackson.
I thought you meant the Forest one who was at Liverpool.
But yeah, so, like... You know what? I think a good way to compare Nico Jackson would be to Evan Ferguson in terms of the fact that he's got a very limited sample size. Like, he's had one season playing top division football in La Liga, I think. And he had a very good purple patch at the end of the year where he got like 8 goals in 9 games or something. We're signing him for 35 million. There's not really much expectations on him, which is kind of the transfer that usually works out quite well for Chelsea. Badiashile was someone that you didn't really know how good he was going to be, and then he came in and did quite well. So I think if Jackson came in as like a backup striker to start with, and then if the absolute superstar that I'm about to mention in a minute struggles, then he starts, I guess. So yeah, anyway, Jackson, don't know anything about him, but yeah, I reckon he would be a squad player. quickly mention as well, I don't know if either of you even know a player called David Fofana that Chelsea have on the books at the minute.
Yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Okay,
I know
fair enough.
David
Well, like,
Fofana.
I feel bad for him because we signed him in January after he was on fire in Mould. And Mould's the team that Haaland played for as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
So I think there was comparisons about like the kind of numbers he was scoring at that level, which I know doesn't mean a lot, but it also means he was having a great season there. So he was doing really well. We signed him. We played him for 1 or 2 games, and then he just didn't see any more minutes. I think he should just go on loan, get some game time, and see how he develops. Because obviously the whole Haaland thing, not that I'm comparing him to him, but like if you just look at someone that was at Mould, if you have another step up, do well at a higher level, and then another loan to go to a Manchester City, Chelsea type club, like I think that's the route for him to be a Chelsea player. So yeah, him. And then Armando Broja, who's an academy player, who was on loan at Southampton 2 years ago, and then he was in the Chelsea squad last year, did his ACL. I think we should potentially give him a run in the team, like depending on how he's come back from this ACL injury. But then it's a bit odd to have Nico Jackson and Broja, who are kind of the same, like they're both potentially squad players. Like, but yeah, I think you give him a pre-season, like I said about Santos and the other youngsters earlier. Like, just see how he is in pre-season, then let Poch make the decisions on him.
Yeah.
Okay, and just quickly wrapping up as well, the player that I said was a superstar, which I don't even know you could necessarily class him as a superstar, is Lautaro Martinez, who I'm not a big fan of, I will admit.
Yeah.
He had a very poor World Cup, but that is a small sample size.
It is. But then the Champions League final as well, he wasn't amazing, was he?
Yeah, true, but there was something about Inter Milan strikers that day. They just didn't want to play football.
Yeah.
No, but so the main reason why I put his name forward is because, according to reports, he is the guy that Pochettino wants to bring in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he might be 23, 24, something like that. So, like, not a terrible age. And I don't know if you remember, but he was linked with Tottenham a few years ago, and that nearly went through, but then it didn't in the end. So, like, he is probably up for sale. I just think if Poch wants him, you've got to give him the players that he wants, see how he does. You could also, it could be a way of, if we got Martinez from Inter Milan, we give them Lukaku permanently, and then we've sorted out that problem.
Yeah.
So if that's a potential, then I am all for Lautaro Martinez playing for Chelsea. But yeah, I don't really know much about him, but I just think the two positions we need most is a new goalkeeper and a striker, and if we could get one of each that are at what you could consider potential world-class players in the future, I think that would be great.
I know, because I'm just thinking of like great teams like City and, you know, this Arsenal team. They don't necessarily have to sign superstars. They just sign players who can fit the system, have got a bit about them. And I think when Martinez is a good example of a player who could fit that mould for you.
Yeah, and apparently he'd be quite up for the move. But I mean, why wouldn't he be? Like, everyone wants to play in the Prem. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, not everyone, but a lot of people.
Well, yeah, most players do,
yeah. So yeah, that is my whole Chelsea season done.
Yeah. Thank God. I bet you've hated every minute of this one, haven't you?
Yeah, so we will now just move on. So yeah, and I'm just going to briefly mention this before we move on to Manchester City. Chelsea yesterday they acquired a new club called Strasbourg, did you say?
Strasbourg,
yeah. Which is a French club, and I'd love to know your two opinions on the whole multi-club model, because obviously Manchester City have one as well. For me, I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, so do we. Olympiacos.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, then we all have it.
Yeah.
What do we think?
I don't particularly. I mean, it's not like they're in the same league, but like they could play in Europe one day, you know. I don't know, because if I support a club who's being used as a feeder club, because that's not what happens with us. But if I'm like a Strasbourg fan, I know City do it like Girona and some
New
French
York
club,
City
New York,
as well.
We've got Troyes.
Yeah, obviously it's good because if you're a lower club like Troyes or Girona who are getting prospects from City on loan, it's great, but I don't know, it's not like that you've taken good performing players off them. No. So, as a fan, but again, it's not the worst thing, but it's not.
I just think, for me, it gives that club a glass ceiling that if you're Strasbourg or Girona or whoever, you've got the link to the Chelsea or Man City that if you have a great player, you're not going to keep them for long. Manchester City or Chelsea are going to buy them and sell them on for more profit, probably. I don't think it should actually be allowed, personally. I don't think you should be able to own multiple clubs.
It's difficult because regulations differ by league. Because, Forest owners recently got a stake in some Italian team as well. I think it might be the one Ethan Ampadu's at. So,
Vicenza, is it?
What?
Yes,
Spezia,
I think,
yeah.
yeah.
So,
Well, and as well, like Leeds are buying an Italian team.
Are they? Yeah.
And I don't know if you've heard about that, but Leeds are
They've been bought by
using
their
they're using Ellen Road as collateral for if the banks need money. Like, you can own Ellen Road or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it all went really... So, like, that's outrageous.
That is outrageous.
Yeah,
so, yeah, obviously Chelsea and Man City isn't to that level. Like, we're just using it as a way of developing players and stuff. But I don't really like it. But it also benefits your club. So
I sort of like it in a way of... the only example I can think of it being used in a good way, Frank Lampard goes to the MLS, to Man City's feeder team, New York City. Obviously, he's way too good for the MLS, so he thinks, right, I'm coming back to the Prem. And then he goes... Because it's owned by City, so you can sort of do a deal with New York City. Just like,
there was a situation with Forest and Olympiacos a few seasons ago where we were going to get one of Olympiacos cast-offs, but then the transfer deadline day passed. So our owner just cut his contract, made him a free agent, and brought him to us.
But both of those examples are dodgy. Like, not
I don't agree with it, and the player in question was shite. But
because we'll mention it later as well. But there's the thing of. Newcastle have got links to Saudi Arabia, obviously, and then Saudi Arabia are buying all these players, and then Ruben Neves.
That's another level of.
No, but like Ruben Neves is getting linked with Newcastle after just being bought for 60 million
on loan.
Yeah, on loan.
Avoids FFP. It's an FFP.
It's a loophole that needs to be stopped, I think. But it doesn't sound like it's going to be stopped, because if Chelsea are just about getting into it themselves and they're going to buy a Portuguese team, it sounds like it's here for the long run. But realistically, it's very minor. Doesn't really matter, I guess, for us at least. Because all our clubs are the ones that are benefiting from this.
Privileged position from it, but...
Yeah, but so I guess we'll move on to Manchester City then, in general.
Okay.
So what have you got to say, Lucas?
So, I will go by position, but just for now, I'll start with a basically confirmed thing of Gundogan is leaving, and then going... where's he going again? Barcelona, yeah. And then Kovacic is coming in. I think that's a good straight swap for me, at least. Well, I like Kovacic.
Yeah, but like focus on Gundogan in general. Like, it's quite a surprise that
he's one of your best players this season. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good time to go in terms of like he's had a 6. Like last season was amazing. Season before he was really good. He had that really good run. The second lockdown season, 2021.
Yeah, no, he's been a key player for you.
But if he wants to ride off into the sunset, he knows this isn't going to get better than treble.
Well, he's done everything he can.
And I think he knows. Like, he's getting on a bit now, and the club have got new midfield targets in place. I reckon he thinks, right, I can hold my head high and leave.
Yeah, leave on a high.
Yeah, leave on a high, and then it's Barcelona. It's not like he's going to some. Shitter. It's still a good club.
Like, that's a good way of looking at it, actually. Because I saw it like, why would you leave Man City for Barcelona? But if it's like you're going to start at Barca every week, whereas Man City, they kind of want to move you on eventually. Like, I mean, fair enough. And then obviously the whole Kovacic thing. He's not a like-for-like midfielder in the slightest. Like, they don't play football the same way. But Kovacic is a great player. Like, because obviously Gundogan, the moments I think of for him are like big goals. Like, Kovacic does not have that, or like he's not had that so far in his career. But like, obviously Gundogan scoring in the FA Cup final in 12 seconds, and
there's so many
Aston
examples
Villa,
in there.
Aston Villa.
Yeah, so like, what a beautiful player.
Bit of
Gundogan
a modern day legend in some ways. Isn't
I'd say so. And he was Pep's first signing.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
2016. So, I don't know. I'm excited for Kovacic. I think he's a good player.
Yeah, I think he'll do very well for you as well, because he's so press resistant that he'll get the ball, he can dribble, and then square it to Haaland for a tap in or whatever. But I don't know how often he's going to play for you, to be honest. Like, I don't think he's not going to be a guaranteed starter, because not many players are for Man City.
Yeah,
probably start 20 league games though. I'm just picking a number out somewhere, but like at least half.
I'm just thinking though, because Gundogan was such like a key source of goals for you at times. Like, do you not think you need to bring in someone else who's going to score goals, or is that just not an issue for you? So I'm not saying you're short on options. It's Man City, but you've lost a big.
Know. We can. I've got a few people for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm just thinking, it's like Andy was saying, it's not a like for like swap. I feel like they're quite different players.
Oh, so different. Yeah. Gundogan's a better player, to be honest.
Yeah. But
fair. I don't know.
But I like Kovacic, and I wouldn't sell him personally.
When I've seen him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Goalkeeper for me sorted.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Scott Carson, number
Yeah,
one.
that's what I was about to say.
Absolutely, yeah.
Who is your number 2?
Ortega,
who's
very good.
Stefan
Of course,
Ortega,
probably
yeah.
the best in the game.
It is a fun fact. Scott Carson has won the Champions League twice in Istanbul.
in
Yeah,
Istanbul.
I know.
What a career!
That
On the
picture
bench-
of him
on the bench both times. I think.
Yeah.
That picture of him at Liverpool's crazy, innit? Like you wouldn't think it was him.
Yeah.
Right, so to the back four. I'm saying back four because City are thinking of keeping this 4 back four thing where we don't really have full-backs. It's sort of like a
The fullbacks one,
3 at the back and
midfielders,
then one
aren't
up
they?
there.
Yeah.
Laporte is probably leaving. I've seen a lot of reports of him going.
What kind of teams is he getting linked with? Like, I've not really.
Would
Would it be like a top Spanish team or?
top Spanish teams, and I think I saw a French team in there, but I'm not sure. But that's all right. I think like he's too good to. He has sort of sat on the bench this season. He is too good for that. I think he's a great player. So if he leaves, that's fair enough. Like I think that's fine. But a replacement I've seen is the Croatian centre back Vardiol.
Yeah.
Josef Vardiol.
Another Croatian.
He's a left-footed centre back. He can play left back. I like him a lot. Only issue would be he would cost a lot of money.
Yeah, I think it's 80 million, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. Might even be more with add-ons.
Yeah, he was heavily linked with Chelsea as well. Like last season, there was a lot of talk, or I think it was last season, maybe the year before, that we were going to sign him, and then we didn't in the end. But I know you're saying it's a lot of money, but let's say you're selling Laporte, you probably get 50.
Yeah.
40, 50, and you're going to sign him for 80. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not awful. And then if he's too expensive, the second option, in my opinion, I've seen us linked with him. I think he'd be a great player as Pau Torres from Villarreal.
Yeah, I don't know much about him, to be honest.
I only remember at the Euros, he was like immense for Spain. He was like really good. And I was like, oh yes, get him to the Etihad, please. Por favor.
Probably be cheaper as well, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he'll be cheaper than Vardiol. But yeah. On to the next player. I've got Kyle Walker is linked to Bayern Munich.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my!
Seen?
No,
Yeah, I've seen
I
that.
haven't
Yeah,
seen that. That's,
Tuchel
cause
loves him, doesn't he?
No, because I saw Kyle Walker linked to Sheffield United.
Oh,
Did
I
anyone
saw
else
that.
see that?
I saw that as well.
Because like his hometown club, and I was like, surely not.
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
No, I think I've seen him linked to Bayern. I think personally that's a good move.
Well, that'd be a great move, yeah.
Because they're going to get rid of Cancelo. They don't want. He's not going to be there next season.
And City are going to let him go still, aren't they?
Yeah, he's a bit old now. He's admitted. He said in an interview, I don't know if this is just him getting in the media's heads, but he's basically said he can't play this new 4 centre back, 1 up top system.
Okay.
He can't.
Really? He said that?
Yeah, he said he can't do it.
Wow.
I don't know if.
Wow.
I don't know because he's more of an out and out right back and he likes running up the wing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my thinking is just that like you're quite short on fullbacks.
Yeah.
But I guess if that's the way you're going with the 4 centre backs, then you don't need a fullback.
Yeah. But I think that'd be a good. I think he'd.
Well, that'd be a great move.
Absolutely
Yeah.
sell it by.
But so, like, here's a question for you, Luke.
Yeah.
With Walker, would you sell him? Like, because how much would you be getting for him as well? 30 maybe.
Because how old is Walker now?
32, I think.
32, yeah. So, it's
So
not
maybe
like
you've got 30 million for him potentially. I don't know.
Yeah, 30 mil. That's a good signing. That's a good sale.
And if you're saying as well that he doesn't even think he suits your new system, you don't need him then.
Exactly. Only issue with that would be if he leaves, Gundogan leaves, and who else was I going to say? Like someone else, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But that's like they're two of well, Gundogan's our captain. Walker is one of the vice captains.
Yeah.
That's 2 leaders.
Yeah,
of
you're
the
losing a lot of
dressing room.
experience there.
Yeah.
Because that's a question I meant to ask you as well. Who would be taking over captaincy if Gundogan is leaving, isn't he? So
Yeah.
who's the front runner?
Either De Bruyne or Ruben Diaz.
I'd like Diaz.
I like Diaz.
He's
He's a leader. Centre back. That's what I like.
I don't really see De Bruyne having much of that.
No.
All I can think of him saying, "Let me talk," and like he was just getting aired by the boys. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. He has been captain before, but yeah, he's not really
That vocal,
material, yeah. Or Rodri could maybe be captain. I don't know though.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I think Walker going to Bayern, it means he still gets European footy, Champions League footy.
For a huge club, yeah.
Yeah, for a big club, he'd have again the quality of the Bundesliga isn't as
it's not as demanding.
So I think it'd be a good step down, but a good step down.
Yeah, and not that much of a step down. Like
no.
it is
still
obviously,
Bayern, yeah.
It's still Bayern,
one of the biggest.
Same as Barcelona with Gundo.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a good move all around.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting one. I wouldn't even really have thought of that.
Yeah. All right, next player, Cancelo. He's leaving.
Yeah, he's not
staying,
leaving, is he?
Yeah.
But like, where would he go?
Not asked.
No, true. But like, I feel like Cancelo is similar to Lukaku in the way that everyone knows that he should not be at your club next year.
Yeah.
He's worth a lot of money, but like, who's going to pay it?
Exactly.
I'm just thinking like Spain, obviously.
But like, most of those teams don't have much money.
PSG.
PSG could be a shout.
Because PSG loves signing like established older players, don't they?
Yeah, PSG could be a shout.
In that locker room, he'd fit right in.
Yeah.
Because you're not a fan, are you?
No, his attitude is really poor, which is such a shame because he's such a
great player,
quality player, but
a lot of attacking output for a defender.
Yeah. Or he's another one who, say he had a good attitude, he could play this John Stones role now where he's next to Rodri almost.
Yeah.
He could do. I saw him do that in the 2021 season. I remember one time, he was just playing. Like, he wasn't a right back, he was basically a midfielder.
Yeah.
And it's the first time I'd seen it, and I said to my dad, like, what's he doing over there? Yeah. So it's pretty much, I think he could have been that guy, but...
Yeah, but do you think there's no way back from then? Like, because what about if there's no offers, like...
He's fell out with Pep. Maybe get loaned to a CFG club.
I think he's a bit better than that, but yeah.
I don't know, if no one comes in.
Someone would take him on loan though. Like.
Saudi Arabia, anyone?
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, good luck to him. But yeah, just don't play at City, pal. Okay, into the midfield, and I've started with Bernardo Silva. I really think and I really hope that he stays. I saw something yesterday about him going Saudi Arabia.
No,
but then that was in the morning, and then I saw something in the afternoon that he's staying. It's a bit 50-50.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the best players in the Prem, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think he's incredible.
He is.
You can't letting him and Gundo go in one window would be catastrophic.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't think that is.
Yeah.
The plan. I mean, yeah, he's only 28. He's not finished. He's only 28.
Oh no, he's in the thick of his prime right now.
So yeah, please don't go.
But would you not say with him, Luke, that you're Manchester City, who have just won the treble, who are one of the most dominant teams in the sport's history. Bernardo Silva every summer wants to leave. Do you not think he's potentially tainting his legacy, even if he ends up staying? Even if he ends up staying, it doesn't seem like he wants to.
Yeah, every transfer window he wants to leave.
So is he loved by the fans unquestionably, or is there a little bit of like he doesn't seem to care that he's here?
So it was a case of after the 18-19 season, I think he said he wanted to go.
God, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Or 19-20 season.
Well, either way, yeah. Either
way. Yeah. And at first everyone was like, "Oh no, please stay, please stay." And then that January, everyone was going, "Oh, please stay." That summer, "Oh, please stay." And then the next January, the January just gone.
Yeah.
I think there was rumours of that, and I saw on Twitter people like, "Pal, just leave. If you want to go that badly, just fuck off."
It's just getting a bit tedious.
Yeah.
You don't want to look desperate.
Yeah, no. Part of me's like, is he just exploring options every summer or like every window?
It's also just a case of because he's since that January, since this second half of the season, he has been so good, and he's been just so good. It's sort of the fans are a bit like, yeah, please don't go again.
Yeah, well, because it doesn't make sense. So when you're talking about Gundogan and Kyle Walker, they're leaving for game time.
Yeah. And
they're taking a step down. Whoever Bernardo Silva joins would be a step down.
Yeah.
And you play a lot for Man City, like it just doesn't.
I know, yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
I don't know. If let's say I've got an option. Say he does go.
Yeah.
I have got a replacement in mind.
Okay.
This isn't. I haven't seen any links.
Okay,
this is
fair
just
enough.
this
Talbot special.
Talbot special, yeah. But if City are going to play these inverted wingers that like a low pass into Haaland instead of the pacey, instead of like a Sané and Sterling who are dead pacey and just ping it into Aguero, we've now got Grealish and Bernardo inverted, and they sort of like skim it
spaces,
in. Yeah. Then a player I've got in mind, he's from Lyon, and he's called Ryan Cherky. He's only 19, and yeah, he looks he looks exciting.
Ball knowledge, Luke.
Yeah.
I do not know who this guy is.
Luke,
how do you know this guy?
He's a wonder kid on FIFA.
Oh,
Okay.
But you've lost all credibility.
No,
this podcast is
come
gonna-
on. He looks sick. Okay.
So he plays for Leon.
He plays for Leon.
He's a starter for Leon.
Yeah.
Okay.
At 19, it's not bad.
if you're starting games at 19, there must be something about you. Because
Yeah.
Leon aren't a small club either.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, he's left-footed, can play on the right wing, or he can play as the midfielder, much like Bernardo.
Mm.
Right. Okay. Next, sticking with the midfield,
Yeah.
we got to talk about Calvin Phillips. So, when he came in last season, £40 million. I don't know if I said to you at the time. I was very confused by it.
Yeah.
In
It was
terms
a
of
random transfer, wasn't
it's
it?
a very random transfer in terms of he's a top player. I really like him. I think he's sick. I see him for like Leeds in England, and I
Yeah.
think, wow, what a player, especially for England in the Euros.
He was a key player for us.
Key player in the Euros, and this is a wasn't he getting picked even when Leeds before they came up when they were in the Championship for like friendlies? I swear he was still like Southgate was like calling him up.
He was like rumoured with call-ups, but I don't think
Yeah.
he explicitly got a call.
It might have been when the first season Leeds got a call.
Yeah,
up.
well, he was a level above anyone in the Championship.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, and then he comes in essentially to play second fiddle to Rodri.
Yeah.
It's a funny one. I think he's had a tainted season in terms of
His fitness was a
his-
question.
Yeah,
at one
he
point,
was
wasn't it?
injured for like 3 months or something.
Yeah, but wasn't there literally a case where Pep said he was like overweight or something?
Yeah,
I don't know if that was just like a meme.
Oh yeah, I remember that. It was after the Euros, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just remember fans
after
shouting,
the
"You
World
fat
Cup.
bastard."
Wait, was
Yeah.
it the World Cup?
It would have been if it was.
Oh, it's the
it was
most
this
recent
season,
one,
so
yeah.
it would have been World Cup. But yeah, I think so. It's not been a great bed because obviously the first season is a bedding in season
Yeah.
in terms of like finding your feet a bit. But I don't know. He seems like from afterwards he's come out and he's been saying about how he really wants to prove himself. He doesn't want to go,
That's good though. Like you want someone
which
who
I
wants to
do
fight
like.
for their
Yeah,
place.
I like it a lot. But then we've been linked with Declan Rice,
That would be mental.
which, yeah, if he comes in,
that kind of pushes Phillips out. Yeah, but again, like if you bring Rice, I'd assume Rice and Rodri would play together.
they're going to have to play together because Rice is.
He's too good to be on
Phillips
the bench.
is too good to be on the bench, but Rice is way too good to be on the
Yeah.
bench. He'd have to play in a sort of box midfield, him and Rodri.
That's
and
where
then
you should.
two
Honestly,
tens.
yeah, exactly. If that's the case, just sell Phillips. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Well, I agree with you that he's too good to be on the bench. But then I saw someone on Twitter and it did actually kind of change my mind that Manchester City have been so good and they've had such a good squad that they usually have two elite players in each position.
Yeah.
You could argue if Rice came in, him and Rodri fight for that one spot, which obviously sounds ridiculous, but if they both got 20 league games,
yeah,
you have different options. If Manchester City are playing, let's say, Bayern Munich away from home, Rice starts for a bit more defensive solidity, and then if you're playing, I don't know, Bournemouth at home,
Yeah.
Rodri starts because he can get the ball going. But not saying that Rodri can't
yeah.
handle those situations, because obviously he scored in the Champions League final.
Rodri's better
But-
than Rice, but in my opinion,
but they've got very different qualities.
yeah,
I feel
yeah,
like.
of course. Yeah, obviously City, they have a lot of you have a lot of games, don't you?
Yeah.
Like, so you need options in every position.
Yeah, but then we've got Calvin Phillips. What do you do if you've got them two fighting out for that one?
Loan him out or sell him or something.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he wants to. We bought him for a lot of money, and he
He's
wants
happy
to stay.
Yeah,
I just don't think there's space for him if Rice comes in.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, so here's a question that, like, I think Rhys, you should answer first, and we'll all give our opinions on it. If
Okay.
you're Declan Rice, do you join Arsenal or Man City?
Arsenal. Just because he's a
game time.
guaranteed starter. There's a chance they'll be in the title run again. If they win, let's say Arsenal win the league, he'll likely have been central to that.
He'll have been more crucial.
If City
than he
win
was
the
at City,
league,
yeah.
he won't have been. And he will get UCL full. If I'm Declan Rice, I'm choosing Arsenal.
Okay, and what about you, Luke? Like,
Well,
as
he's
in
a-
just
he's a
for-
City
No, but
fan.
like from Rice's perspective, not for what's best for Man City.
Well, in terms of, I'll make the argument for joining Man City from Rice's point of
Okay.
view. Okay, West Ham fans, for the most part, they really want him to go to Man City. They don't want him to go to Arsenal.
Oh, is that it?
So he'd keep a bit of like, not saying that he wouldn't if he went to Arsenal, but again, it's like you know how all the London clubs are.
Yeah, that wouldn't. If he goes to Man City, it doesn't bother West Ham fans compared. If he goes to Arsenal, that's bad.
Yeah, exactly. So he wants to sort of keep a good relationship with the West Ham fans that have been so good to him.
So that is a tick, to be fair.
Which is a tick. It is sort of. It's not a guaranteed start, but I reckon he would. If he played, like, let's say we play 3-4-3, 3 at the back, Rodri, Rhys, whoever, and then 3 at the top, then you can slot him in. I think he would absolutely thrive under Pep. I remember, even before, it was after the Champions League final, I said to my dad, like, where does Pep go after City?
Yeah.
And we were saying about him with this England squad, and this is before we were linked with Rhys. I was like, Rhys would absolutely thrive under him, I believe.
Yeah.
In like a few years, and I just think he'd be I think he could advance the game so much compared to. Now look, Arteta's a great manager, and
but there is levels.
There's levels to this game, and I reckon that. And also, he'd win a lot of trophies.
Yeah, I think
and he'd be playing for the top team.
Yeah, no, the dominant team. Yeah, I think I would argue the same as you, Luke. To be fair, that he is a Chelsea fan. Like, Declan Rice is a Chelsea fan. He played in the academy, so like going to Arsenal's great. Going to Arsenal's great, but if you go to Man City, you don't bother the West Ham fans, like you say.
Yeah.
Being at Arsenal as a Chelsea fan must be a bit odd.
Yeah.
It's just a bit unusual. And as well, the thing is, it's the thing of, if you go to Manchester City, you can say, I've worked under Pep Guardiola. Like, Arteta's had one great season, cool, that's fine, but like, there is levels to this game, and Pep's won 3 Champions Leagues. Arguably, well, not even arguably, he's one of the greatest managers ever. Like, so yeah, I think I would say, he should go to Manchester City as well. The annoying thing about Declan Rice is that he was being linked with Chelsea for so many years, and like, obviously he was an academy player. We let him go.
Yeah.
So like, there was talk that was the reason why we didn't want to sign him back. Sorry, but there's not many players in the world that are at Declan Rice's level. And like, it's not even just, he's got a great personality as well. Like, ignoring the fact that he ditched the Republic of Ireland for England, but like, no, but he does seem to have quite a few leadership qualities as well. The fact that he's West Ham captain at such a young age.
Yeah.
And I've just thought as well, if he does join Man City, which I hope he does, because obviously that would make Arsenal, like, it would weaken Arsenal a lot. There will be a lot of, every time Man City play West Ham, there's going to be all those videos, and Declan Rice is going to be added to those videos.
Isn't he will, yes.
So maybe that's a good reason for it. Because obviously I would love Declan Rice at Chelsea, but like, that's just not going to happen. Like, it's just, there's no talk of it this summer. So yeah.
I don't know. We'll see, won't we? Obviously, we can't make a decision for him.
Yeah, the weird thing is as well, like, he's been linked with Arsenal a lot, and then Man City have sort of just
kind of come in at the last minute. Yeah.
So I think he will end up at Arsenal though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Does he? So at Arsenal, it's off topic, but Thomas Partey, is he leaving?
Yeah, he's very likely leaving. Saudi Arabia, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah, and they've sold Xhaka, Granit Xhaka.
Yeah, so they're crying out for a midfielder.
Yeah, they do need a sort of defensive midfielder. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, carrying on with the Man City team. So Rice would be a great signing.
Rice, it'd be great. I also have a thing of, if him and Rodri play alongside, if we say we don't play a box and we play a 3-4-3, if we had like Rice and Rodri pivot, and we could have Foden in that free number 10 role, which is something that we've wanted for so long for him, because he's sort of been, because when he was like 17, 18, he'd sort of play in that David Silva, like David Silva would come off, he'd come on, and it'd just be a straight swap.
Yeah,
he'd play that role, which is what we thought he'd play in his whole career as a sort of number 8, number 10. But he's sort of had to flog off to the wing because we had to let Sane go, and then Sterling went. But I think his best position, well, neutral say it as well, is at that number 10. So I reckon it could be a case of him going there. What else have I got? Okay, sticking to the midfield, but going a little bit higher up.
Yeah.
You'll all be excited to know the news.
Oh, I know what's coming.
Big JM.
Oh.
78. Oh, what are you going to say?
I thought you meant Cole Palmer.
I'll get on to Cole Palmer.
Okay.
My other star boy, James McAtee.
Do you think he actually has a place in City's?
Well, there's a thing saying he's not going to He's not going out on loan. He's not getting sold. Pep wants him in the squad next season.
Wow.
So I think
Interesting.
he'll be a bench. He's not starter.
So it could be like Cole Palmer, sort of like a.
Well, I hope he'll be better than cameos, but I hope he'll be better than Cole Palmer this season. But I think he's obviously not going to start unless it's like whoever in the cup.
Yeah.
But I think it's good for him. He had a great season last season at Sheffield United.
I feel like he had a great second half of the season. I remember we went to a few Sheffield United games, and the one against Wrexham, he missed a sitter.
He did.
It's one game, Andy.
No,
it's
but
one
at
game.
that point, he wasn't on. He ended the season great.
Yeah. Did you watch the compilation I put into the Twitter chat?
Yeah, I loved it. No,
it was all his goals from this season.
No,
and
like
some
he's
of them are
good.
bangers.
It surprises me that a team like City is willing to take a chance on him.
Yeah.
But how much of a chance are they going to take on him if they're only playing him in cup games? And like, if he's getting Cole Palmer minutes,
I think just depending into. I hope he gets more than Cole Palmer got this season.
Yeah, if I'm McAtee, I get a few City games on my CV and then I fuck off next year.
Yeah, and like win a few trophies.
Yeah, exactly.
So that makes sense.
Yeah. I've not heard any news about Tommy Doyle. Personally, I'd like to see him loaned back to Sheffield United.
Yeah, I was going to say, surely you can't have both of them.
No, it's not. There's not enough
just
room.
KDV and Gundogan replacement.
Yeah, another Sheffield United loan would be really different.
Something like maybe Burnley or something like that. I don't know.
His goal against Blackburn in the FA Cup, rocket.
Yeah.
If you can get a few more of them in him, then maybe you can stay at City. Yeah. But okay, so Cole Palmer, he's been linked to a loan move to like some top Bundesliga clubs. I've seen Dortmund. I'd quite like to see.
Really?
Yeah.
Cole Palmer
To Dortmund.
Okay, Dortmund do have a knack for developing players.
But I'd quite like to see him at Bayer Leverkusen, you know. I just think he'd fit in
Hudson
there.
Odoi thrive then. No. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that's so random.
Well, the Bundesliga is good for English players to get a lot of space and time.
Yeah. I think from what I read though, there is City want a loan move, no option to buy. They want him back afterwards. And to tick off the rest of the shitters.
What a way to describe your academy graduates.
Wow.
Is Maxwell Perrone, or Perrone as we call him.
Is he Italian?
No.
No,
I thought that was like
he's Argentinian.
Okay.
You signed him last year, didn't you?
We signed him last year. He came on, I found out he did play for us. We thought he didn't play for us. He came on against Bournemouth.
I thought you were going to say Burnley.
For like 20 minutes.
Massive.
Yeah. But to be fair, he had to go and play for Argentina at the Under-20s World Cup.
Good for him.
Yeah.
But so what? Sorry, you're saying he's going to go on loan then?
So he's staying with Man City for the pre-season.
Let's see how he does,
No, and then he's going on loan to Girona.
Oh, right.
But he doesn't want to be with Girona for pre-season. He wants to be with City for pre-season, which is...
Why doesn't he want to be in Girona?
I don't know. If I was him, you want to go meet your new teammates.
Yeah, you go and fit and bed yourself in.
Yeah. So but he's just staying with City for pre-season.
Where is City going on pre-season?
Japan. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. So maybe he
just wants the holiday to Japan.
Yeah. Don't know.
Fair enough.
Or maybe just sit so he can...
I'm surprised you're going to Japan.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I feel like I missed something out. Yes.
You're talking about your midfielders.
Okay, so that's me done with the midfielders.
Okay.
Onto the wing. So Mahrez looks like he's leaving for Saudi Arabia potentially.
You're losing a lot of players.
I know, yeah, it's a big rebuild.
Having your whole team dismantled.
Yeah. Again, he's been cracking player, but if he wants to leave, I mean, how old is he now? Like 33?
Something like that.
Yeah. Maybe he needs to get a bit younger.
Yeah, we need someone a bit younger, and also he's one of these. He's like pacey, great best first touch I've ever seen from anyone. But if we're playing again these sort of low block, getting into the forward, he doesn't really fit in there. Same as Walker in that regard, in terms of it's a good time for him to go. He can go holding his head up high. If you want my replacement, I've got two. So I've got a guy, another Argentinian winger. I like my South American wingers.
Oh yes.
His name is Ezequiel Zeballos, and he's 21 from Boca Juniors. I think.
Do you know about him because of FIFA as well?
Yes.
God, Luke, please never apply for a job as Man City recruitment or.
Just like, he's a wonder kid. Get him. Okay, and if not him, then my second option would be to bring back Kaiki, who's
but isn't he more of a winger than a?
He's a left-footed right winger, so we can cut in.
Okay.
He's we bought him from the Brazilian league as this like wonder kid.
Oh
He did really good like comp highlights, and then he's just sort of on the bench, and then he went on loan to the Portuguese league, but it was to a shit Portuguese team, so he didn't look good. And I think he went to I think now he's a different Portuguese team.
Wow, been around.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe just
give him a chance.
Give him a chance. I know he's not massively impressed on loan, but okay, why not?
Okay.
And yeah, that's all in terms of players. What I've got.
Okay, so obviously the
strikers is sorted, isn't it?
Strikers sorted.
Have you only got the two? Yeah, there's no one else. Haaland and Alvarez, obviously.
Yeah, that's it, really.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all you need, really.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Bourgeois probably going to leave for potentially Forest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll move on to Forest in a minute. But
yeah,
I just want to say, Luke, if that's the squad you end up having next year,
you're not like it.
No, there's way too many just Kaiki in your squad, and
I was just trying to think if so and so leaves, who to bring in, and I just thought.
So him up front, you got McAtee and Doyle in midfield.
Yes.
Scott Carson in goal.
Harwood Ballas, what's he called?
Taylor Harwood Ballas.
Which is going to be City's under 20. Pep's like, I want a new challenge now.
Okay, and that's enough Manchester City chat for now, I'd say. So we'll move on to the mighty Nottingham Forest, Rhys. So
let's go.
What have you got to say about that?
I mean, we don't need 30 signings. That's my first point.
Well, that's lucky.
Yeah, no, we've got a core in place now, and we just need to build on it. Really, the priority's got to be a goalkeeper, because right now we have Wayne Hennessy and Ethan Horvath. Congrats on the promotion to Horvath. Little Luton Town shout out, but you're not going to be our number one next season, unfortunately. There was rumours we were going to sell him to Luton, but apparently Luton don't want him.
Yeah,
really.
That's really surprising.
That is very considering some of the players Luton are linked with. No disrespect, but anyway, he's won the past 2 playoff finals at Wembley. Fun fact, because he played about 2 minutes at the end when Samba got injured. So not many keepers can say they've done that. Yeah. But anyway, enough about Luton. We need a goalkeeper. Dean Henderson looks like it's going to happen. Obviously, he was brilliant for us before he got injured. I was a little bit surprised just because he was supposedly out till August, and I thought we'd look to sign someone who can get a pre-season in.
Yeah.
But it looks like we're going to get Henderson.
Is he still out till August?
But I don't know. We never really tell the truth on what injury timelines look like, because he was supposed to be out for 3 weeks originally, and then we signed Keylor Navas, and it was like...
Yeah, because when was that? That was what?
January. So
he's not played for you since then?
No.
So he had half a season.
So it's a bit of a gamble, because I have a few names that we could sign. Because last summer, apparently, before we went for Henderson, we went for the Croatia keeper, Livakovic. I think
he plays for Zagreb, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a great keeper, played in Europe, one of the best keepers at the World Cup. I'd be up for him if we can't get Henderson, because apparently Henderson's dependent on De Gea signing a new contract at United, which is weird, because Henderson's apparently fallen out with United. So I don't know what the crack is there.
Yeah, so it was obviously last summer, wasn't it, when he literally said he wanted to go out on loan before Ten Hag got in, so he didn't get kept.
Yeah.
But that's the thing of game time, obviously, rather than not wanting to.
Because I think it would be more, if De Gea doesn't get the new contract, it will be Onana first choice, Henderson second. So
yeah, but would he want to be second choice?
I don't think so. I think he's ready.
He doesn't want to be second choice.
He's like 27 years old, 26 or like 20. 26, I think.
I guess for a goalkeeper, that's quite.
Yeah. But I feel like he's at a point now where he wants to be starting, and Forest would give him that. Another name that I'm just going to throw out, you'll like this, Andy, Kelleher. I think he's ready. The Athletic did an article on him. He's got great stats.
But
in the little he's played.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It is such a small sample size.
Yeah, but I think Steve Cooper and young players is a match made in heaven, who have a point to prove.
True. But did you take a gamble on someone that big last summer? I can't remember out of your players. Did you have someone that didn't really have many games under their belt?
Well, Nico Williams was a big gamble.
Okay.
Because even a lot of Forest fans didn't want Nico Williams.
And he ended up doing well.
Because he ended up. It's one of them where he started pretty poorly, but before his injury, he was actually doing really. He scored his first goal at Anfield.
I remember. Yeah,
and he was from like that around that time he was outstanding. Because that does take me nicely on to right backs.
Yeah, well, just before you do that though, like I would love Kelleher to go to Forest. Like that would be great. But I think Klopp came out and said that he's not letting him go again, which is so frustrating from the Island point of view.
Yeah, because you want your players to be getting game time.
Yeah, and like obviously. For me, I would say Bazunu's a better goalkeeper than Kelleher. Like, I think there's no argument about that.
And just the fact he's playing as
that's
well.
That's what I was about to say. That's the main reason why I think it. Because like Bazunu obviously had a poor season at Southampton, but he looked great for the national team. Yeah, he's 21 years old.
I think a season in the Championship would do him good.
I think so too.
Or like a lower Prem team. But anyway, it's more about Kelleher that I would love him to go to Forest, start every week, see how he does.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of players
just a bit risky,
who are at bigger clubs and need game time.
Yeah, but like obviously. Henderson is the dream. Right?
Yeah, and I think we are going to get like the only player that Fabrizio Romano was quoted us with is Henderson. Okay. I hold weight on that. And he wants to stay. He's been pretty it's pretty well common knowledge that he wants to stay at Forest.
And there's no way that Keylor Navas would return.
No.
What's he going to do then?
Back to PSG, sit on their bench. I think. At the end of the day, we need to be planning long term. Yeah. Navas is like 36, 37. I wouldn't have Navas back. I just think if he had been like outstanding for us, he was good. I just think Henderson has got longer. He's got more years in him. Navas won't want to be number 2 to him.
He made a few mistakes as well, didn't he?
He did. Some of them you can say, questionable defending as well. It's easy to look at the keeper, but I think we can do a bit better.
Wow. Fair enough.
That's my honest opinion. But yeah, that's keepers. On to fullbacks. So at right back we've got Aurier, Nico Williams, and someone you two definitely won't have heard of. His name's Richie Larrier. He plays for Canada. Got him from the MLS when we were still in the Championship.
Right.
Played once on the final day of the season and we loaned him out. He'll be sold.
Okay.
Unless he's on silly wages.
But so you're happy with those two right backs?
Serge Aurier was an outside contender for our player of the season.
Which is amazing because when I think of him, I just think of him being so reckless at Tottenham. Yeah,
it was the complete opposite for us. That right side is so well protected by him. I noticed on a few times last season, if the opposition misplaced a pass, Aurier would always be there. He'd always drop into midfield to make interceptions. His reading of the game is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And for me, I was going to say best defender, second best defender.
Well, that's got to be down to Steve Cooper then.
Yeah, no, I think
got him to that level.
Because apparently there's stuff about attitude problems, but you always see him I yawned when he was talking about City, to be fair, but there was a lot of stuff at Tottenham about attitude problems. But he was always talking to younger players. He was always very. He was just. Yeah, I think he's brilliant, and
fair enough.
He's got the contract extension. Nico Williams again, very good backup. I think he's done enough to warrant second choice. Not really much else to say there, but I think he could be a surprise package next year. Wouldn't even surprise me if Nico took the starting right back role. Left backs, we need a left back so bad. We've got Harry Tofolo, who's a bit naff. We've got Omar Richards, who we signed from Bayern, who's a bit. He didn't play a single game. He got injured in pre-season, and there's a common joke amongst Forest fans that he's not a real person. Because obviously we had so if you've been at Bayern as a young player, you've obviously got something about you. So I hope we can see him play, but we desperately need to sign a left back. We had obviously Renan Lodi from Atletico, which at the time was a mental signing. He was brilliant for us, but he wants to leave. Benfica is apparently where he's going. He wants UCL football. But yeah, left back and goalkeeper are the two priorities. There's no break. We have to sign in both those positions. But yeah, on to centre backs. We've got. You're right, Andy.
You were texting during my little City thing, so keep it out.
You look.
Just you started yawning.
But yeah, centre back. We have a lot of centre backs, a stupid amount of centre backs. I'm not going to list them all, but we've got Felipe, who, in my opinion, is one of the better defenders in the bottom half of the league. A lot of people thought we got him on loan from Atletico, but we haven't. We've got Moussa Niakate. I don't know if anyone's ever seen his long throw-ins. They are the most insane things you'll ever see. Yeah, he doesn't even run up. He just stands there and just goes, and it just goes right into the box.
Nice.
There was a whole like article on like the science behind it because it defies physics. Basically,
So he's got a bit of Rory Delap about him.
Yeah. No, he did it against Chelsea actually. One of our goals came from his long.
Oh yeah,
he literally stands there and goes
at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah. So that's an asset for us because goals from throw-ins. I think we led the Prem in goals from throw-ins.
How many would you have scored? Like 3, maybe?
5. And the rest of the league combined got 3.
I was going to say there wouldn't be many.
That's
and I swear Liverpool have a throw-in specialist, don't they? They
have a coach.
That's what I meant. Yeah. So they should give him a sack and steal your goal.
But yeah, we've got a lot of centre backs. We've got Willy Bolly, who he's a bit slow, but he's a great defender. We signed him from Wolves. There's a few question marks over him, but I think if we can have a back three of Felipe, Niakate and Bolly, we're not conceding a single goal all season. Not to be dramatic. We've got Joe Worrell.
Who are you playing first game of the season?
Arsenal.
Great when they ship 7 past you.
Yeah. We beat them before. Joe Worrell, who he didn't have a great season, but towards the end really came into his own. I think keep him as an option. He is club captain, although I feel like that might change. Again, a lot of them, we've got prospects like Jonathan Panzo, who did he play for Chelsea?
Yeah. And Monaco. He was on loan at Coventry last year.
Yeah. It might be worth giving him a chance. We've got this.
I just don't think he'll get in the squad though.
Probably not, to be honest. So again, we'll probably listen to offers on him. Scott McKenna, again, option, but if the right offer comes in, might have to sell. There's also a guy called Loic Mbeso, who prospect from PSG. We signed him last season. Big money. We signed him for in the Championship. He's been on loan in France. Again, I don't know how he's done, but I feel like because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 centre backs, it might be worth selling 1 or 2. But again, there's another part of me that's like, maybe we need to sign another option just because to
get a bit of quality.
Yeah, centre backs in.
Yeah, why not?
Back 10.
Yeah, back 10. Why not? Just the ultimate low block. I mean, I'm open to another centre back, but it's not a necessity. But yeah, that's the defence. Overall, I'm pretty happy as long as we can sign a goalkeeper and a left back. I'm pretty confident we'll be good at the back. Again, midfield, we're pretty loaded. And towards the end of last season, we nailed our midfield 3. That Danilo, who I think will be one of the most talked about players in the league next season. I really do. He looked incredible. It took him a while to settle down because we'd signed him from Brazil. He didn't know any English. He had to adapt. But once he did, he was so key for us. Yeah. So we had him. We had Aurel Mangala. So good on the ball. Like tight spaces, he always gets out of them. And then Ryan Yates, who is just a fucking Brexit. Well, not really. Like his passing game's actually all right, but so that midfield 3 I'd happy to roll with. But I also know that it's pretty well known that Cooper doesn't want to play low possession football. He was forced to, so that makes me think we'll bring in someone who's better on the ball. Yeah, I mean Danilo can do that, but the system change might mean we need other options. But yeah, that midfield 3 I'm happy with, especially Danilo. I think next season he's going to be vital for us. Yeah,
what you said there though, Rhys, about like he didn't want to play the way that you played and like he's going to potentially change it next year. Would that not worry you though, that sometimes teams that are lower half, like that's how you have to play?
No. I know that we have a manager who's mature enough to know when he's not going to like first game of the season, right? All out attack against Arsenal.
He just wants to slowly change
it. Which is why bringing someone who's not going to be a starter from the beginning, but this brings me on nicely to Lewis O'Brien. Obviously, we loaned him out because his mate badmouthed our owner on a Twitch stream. I'm wholly convinced that's why we let him go, because he was a great player for us.
It's a bit harsh that it's his mate as well. It's not even him.
Yeah. No, I think it's stupid, and it's not outright proven. But
yeah, your owner's got a big ego, doesn't he?
Very big ego, and I think he needs to put that to one side because O'Brien's just been on loan in the MLS, done very well. It's only because he couldn't get a loan to Blackburn on deadline
fell
day.
Through, didn't it? Yeah.
And like our first win in the Prem against West Ham, he was actually man of the match.
Wow.
And he was outstanding. We thought, okay, this guy's going to be our main midfielder, and then he just kind of faded out. He had illness as well, which kept him out for a bit. But again, he's so good on the ball. If we want to play more progressive, I'd be including him. I really would. We've got Remo Freuler, who I was a big fan of, but it was obvious that when he didn't play, we looked a lot better.
Right.
I think he's used to playing in the Serie A, which is slower. I'd be listening to offers for him. John Joe Shelvey, car crash, get rid. I think Luton Town would be. I love how any rejects. Yeah, Luton.
Luton can have
no,
him.
but there's.
Did you sign him in January?
We did, and he's got a good passing range. He started quite well, but he's quite error prone. He doesn't track back. Against Villa, he literally assisted their goal. He gave away a penalty in a big game against Everton.
He must be quite old now as well, because I remember at Swansea, I thought he was a good player, but that was 10 years ago.
Yeah, I know. There's clearly a player in there, but I'm pretty sure he's fell out with Cooper. Cooper told him to stay at home after he had a tantrum about not being included in our lineup against Liverpool. So the relationship's tainted.
Yeah.
Adios, mate. Saudi Arabia, if you want a midfielder.
If you want a bold midfielder with big nose.
Yeah. He's all yours. Who else we got in midfield?
That's just funny.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd like a holiday to there, but
Dubai.
Is
Dubai in Saudi Arabia? No, Jeddah,
yeah.
Saudi Arabia.
Talking of
great knowledge.
Dubai is not in Saudi Arabia.
That actually brings me on to another player called Brian Ojeda. Good nice little loop there, Luke. He's a young player that we signed in the Championship. Decent little prospect. Might be, again, he's been on loan in the MLS. I don't know what it is with us in the MLS, but
was he another one that his deal fell through last minute and then that was the only window open? Or?
I hope so.
Because it's not
he's
great
a promising
experience.
He's a promising young player from what I saw. He started a bit for us in the Championship when we had injuries, and I was pretty impressed. But I feel like we would sell him.
Yeah.
We've got Cheku Kuyate, who again is a decent option. He looked good for us when he did play. I wouldn't want him as a starter. I'm not opposed to letting him go either. But again, if the right offer came in. Yeah,
he could be a good player to bring on for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah. Against Arsenal, he came off the last 20 minutes and was brilliant. Any ball that came in his direction, he'd make a nice pass or just even a clearance. But maybe sign a midfielder just so if Cooper wants to adapt, he's got it.
Yeah.
But again, I think O'Brien could do that. We've also got Gustavo Scarpa, Brazilian League Player of the Year that we bought in. He had problems injuries and personal problems that meant he didn't play much for us. But I'd be open to giving him a chance. But again, there's a few older players in midfield where I'm just I'd want to shift to younger players. But yeah, that's all there is to say about the midfield really. In attack's quite interesting because Brennan Johnson, he's being linked with a lot of clubs at the moment. Tottenham, West Ham, Everton. Now, West Ham and Everton, I don't see obviously at West Ham you get European football. But I feel like he's better off at Forest. We've rejected 30 mil from Brentford. That's confirmed by Fabrizio Romano.
What do you mean by better off at Forest though? Because realistically, West Ham are an established Premier League club, so it is a move up.
It's more that the last few seasons West Ham have been flirting with relegation. Aside from that type, they obviously got a Europa League spot.
I thought last year was the only year they have been in a relegation battle for a while though.
Is it? Maybe I'm getting mixed up because I feel
they're one of those finished top 7.
They're one of those teams that's
the year before they did.
Yeah.
The year before that, I think they were in a bit of trouble.
But in my opinion, where West Ham finished in the league last season is a better reflection of where they're at. Because obviously David Moyes is still under a bit of fire in terms of league form. The Conference League, they should have won. They were one of the better teams. I just think at Forest, our system revolves around him. He is our system last season was about getting a burst of pace from Johnson and getting a chance.
I just think he could do that at West Ham as well. They did win a Conference League. They won a trophy.
Yeah, but I feel when Tottenham are interested, that's what he should be waiting for.
Okay, so your point is more, wait
there
until
are
you
better.
Get
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
But interestingly, that guy from City, George, I don't know how he says George's the under 21s guy. Bourgeois.
Yeah.
Him. But I've watched a few compilations, believe it or not. He's quick. He's very fast, and I feel like if Johnson was to go, would he be the like-for-like replacement, or would he just be a backup option? Because from what I can gather, he can play anywhere across a. Yeah. So there's a name I'll throw in the hat. There was also one name I forgot to mention. Just going back to left back. Because I forgot to mention, and this is a name that I forgot about until recently, but he's out of favour at Spurs. Ryan Sessegnon.
Yeah.
Great prospect. Hasn't worked out at Spurs. I know he's been out on loan a few times, or at least once, to somewhere in like Italy.
I don't know.
And I think as a left back signing, a young player that Cooper could work alongside, maybe worth a gamble.
Was he part of the squad that Cooper managed for England, or?
He might have been.
I feel like it's about the right age.
Maybe, yeah. Anyway, back to wingers, because I know the thing is Sessegnon can play on the wing as well, so versatility. Because I feel like we don't have that many versatile players who can play like multiple positions. So, yeah, one worth looking at. Obviously Morgan Gibbs-White, our best player hands down. I don't even need to talk about him. Like next season, he's only going to get better, and I think he'll be in the England squad by next year. No, not much doubt over that. It was a surprise he didn't get included this year, but again, he is captain of the under-21, so I think that factored into it.
That's a big
factor. One player that you two will know, Alex Myton. I think he needs another loan move just because he was at Sheffield Wednesday last year. Didn't go very well because they were playing him apparently like wing back.
Right.
He ain't a wing back. I've never known him to have like defensive qualities. So.
They didn't play him in his natural position.
No, so I feel like send him to a club where I feel like when you loan a player out, don't just go for whoever's taking him. Be like, what are you going to do with him? Yeah. You know, do your homework, because I feel like with Forest we don't always do that. We just send them out to the MLS or just wherever we'll take them. Just you know, keep that in mind. So yeah, we need a winger ultimately, because obviously we've got Johnson on the right, we've got Awoniyi up front. Gibbs-White can play on the left, but I'd prefer him as a 10. Yeah. So that leaves space on the left.
Could Alex Myton not take that spot though?
I feel like he's got a bad loan spell at Wednesday.
No, right? I feel like there's a player in there, but starting for us in the Prem. I'm gonna throw a name out there. Willie Gnonto. Do you know who that is? Leeds.
Oh yeah.
Anytime I watched Leeds last season, which wasn't much, I will admit, Gnonto was by far their best player.
He's the Italian guy.
Yeah,
right?
and he's 19.
Yeah.
He was like Leeds' only real attacking threat from what I could tell.
Who's the guy for Leeds as well? The one that's got the release clause of like 2 million. Rodrigo.
Yeah.
Take him.
It's
like 2 million apparently.
Yeah, because he plays more as a like striker, doesn't he? Or
does he? Yeah.
Because I'm just going to get onto that because we do need a second striker. But in terms of winger, Gnonto, we have been linked with Hudson-Odoi. I think obviously, I'd think there's better, but I also think that he was part of that Cooper squad.
Yeah.
Maybe we could give him a chance, especially if he's on the bench. He's not a starter for us. Yeah. But yeah, Hudson-Odoi. Can't think of too many. We haven't been linked with that many players, but a winger's a priority. I'd say Gnonto would be my pick, and then if Sessegnon could slot in, maybe if he doesn't perform, and at 19 years old, high ceiling.
Yeah.
Get it done. Emmanuel Dennis, we're apparently listening to offers on.
Yeah, the Athletic said that, didn't
they? He's a good player. Like at Watford, he was brilliant.
Great at Watford.
And for us, he was promising. He scored a couple of goals, but in the final third, his decision making is he's a bit selfish. I remember we played Wolves at one point last season, and there was a chance to square it to I think Gibbs-White, and he just tried to take on 3 defenders, and I was just like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
it's not the first time he's done that, and I feel like again we can just do better. Josh Bowler, we signed him from Blackpool and instantly loaned him to Olympiacos. That's where the multi-club model comes in. He ended up getting released by Olympiacos, and we loaned him back to Blackpool. We have to sell him. Luton, you want him? They can just become our farm team. But yeah, again, they can have Emmanuel Dennis as well if they like.
This couldn't come back to bite you with.
And John Joe Shelby, which is just last season's Forest bench, basically.
What did you say, Luke?
This is going to come back to bite you if somehow Luton finish above you next season.
Yeah, and it involves John Joe
Shelby.
John Joe Shelby scores a worldie from 30 yards out. But yeah, that's what I do with the. So yeah, a winger would be ideal as well. Say his name.
Bourgeois.
Sign him as just an attacking option, Gnonto as well. Just young players with a point to prove, because I feel like we've got a lot of experience. I don't think we need to necessarily target older players.
Yeah.
In terms of a striker, Taiwo Awoniyi is our nailed-on starting striker.
Yeah, had a great end to the season.
It was something like 5 goals in 6 games or 6 goals in 5. I always get mixed up, but his form was insane, and like, he was our top scorer in the end. I think it was 11 goals in 14 games because he was injured for a lot of the season.
He got 11 goals in 14 games?
Something like that.
Wow.
I might be...
that's something like that.
Might be an exaggeration.
That's great stats,
might be a
though,
big exaggeration.
But
he was prolific for us.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's our nailed-on starter, but we do need a second striker because, as it stands, it's Chris Wood.
Yeah.
Now, aside from a tap-in against Man City, he may as well have not been on the pitch for us at all. Just a bit of a... It was very much a panic buy. Did you hear about the conditions of the loan?
Yeah,
Play 3 games, 15 million we buy him for. So we had to do that. If Luton want a striker, then you can have him. But I feel like
I think they're happy with Carlton Morris.
The thing is, Chris Wood would be our second striker. I feel like we need a second striker because Chris Wood ain't good enough. But again, off the bench, maybe just if we're behind and we're lunging.
Yeah, he gives you a different option.
But I think that's why I think if we get a second striker, we won't invest too highly because we want to return this investment.
You kind of need.
Which
to make
is why
it work.
Keenan Davis, who was on loan to us in the Championship, who was outstanding for us, is apparently available from Villa for 5 million. Now he's had injury problems at Watford, of all places.
Yeah.
So maybe not, but if we want sort of a low price second choice striker, and Cooper's worked with him, and he won't be playing as much because he's not
going to be a starter.
No. It's worth considering.
Yeah, and then would you say if you get him, would you potentially keep Chris Wood as well? Like just have 3 strikers for one position? It's not a bad idea.
I don't think 3. Because if someone gets injured, you've only got 1 in the position. So, and obviously Keenan Davis isn't like Premier League proven. So it's one of them where it's probably the biggest move he's going to get. Cause, I'm not.
Well, unless Luton come knocking.
Unless Luton knock on the door. Again, I wouldn't even rule that out. But he's not Premier League proven, and he's had chances in the Prem. I feel like Forest is the best move he could get.
Yeah.
That's all that. That's strikers pretty much. And we've got Sam Surridge, who I backed quite a lot. He did well for us in the Championship. The problem with him is he needs space. He got it in the Championship. He didn't get it in the Prem. If he doesn't get space, he's not.
Maybe a loan move to.
Yeah,
Luton.
Luton. Yeah.
A league where he gets more space.
Yeah. I think we'll sell. I think we've given him a chance. I feel like now he's falling down the pecking order a bit. I like him. I would have loaned because he was linked with a loan move to Burnley in January. Actually, that would have made more sense. But I think now it's like time for him to move on. But yeah, that's pretty much our whole team. So in short, goalkeeper, left back, winger, second striker, 4 signings. Something tells me we'll go for more because Forest love the transfer market. We've got a new director of football in from Rangers. I don't think he was very well liked at Rangers, but he did help get them to Europa League final. I think the one thing we need more than anything, because we didn't have one last season, is a head physio, because we had a lot of injuries, and it was only when the squad got settled that we saw what they were capable of.
Yeah.
So manage the injuries better. We've also, for some reason, not renewed the contract of our academy director, who's very well liked at Forest, Gary Brazil. Is
he related to Alan?
That's what I just thought.
Who knows? But he was influential behind our academy that's been so good for us. So I find that a bit bizarre. But apparently we're literally taking, what I can gather, we're taking Rangers backroom staff and sort of just, I don't get it, but we'll see what happens on that front. But yeah, like I said, 4 or 5 signings, maybe 6. Something tells me it'll be more like 7 or 8 because it's Forest and we just love.
Yeah, you'll see an opportunity.
But you know what? We have something to build around, and I'm optimistic. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
Okay, and moving on, there's a segment that I think we could probably end on. Obviously, the season has just finished, so I think we should all go through for our individual clubs and say the best game of the season, the worst game of the season, and like a little prediction for where you think you'll go next year, like where you think you'll finish next year.
Yep.
So, I mean, I'm happy to go first if you want. So, obviously, Chelsea had a terrible season. Probably the worst in Premier League history for like the club, finishing 12th after spending 600 million.
That is pretty bad.
It's about as bad as it gets. And
you could have got relegated.
There was a point where I was like, are they getting dragged in?
Yeah, no, there was potential. But so anyway, so there aren't many games to pick for best game of the season, but one definitely stands out for me, and it was when Chelsea beat Dortmund 2-0, and obviously
I thought
they
you'd say that.
overturned the 1-0 away leg deficit, which they were quite unlucky. I rewatched the highlights for those games the other day, and they were quite unlucky to lose that game in Dortmund in the first place. But I mean, it's just typical Chelsea to create all these chances and not finish any of them.
Yeah, but in that game, and that was like up there with the best I've seen Havertz play as well.
Yeah, but so yeah, anyway, the game at Stamford Bridge, the second leg, like I was saying to you guys before the game that I had a feeling we'd do it. Like Chelsea on Champions League nights,
you turn up and
usually
the Bridge is a hell of a
they
place
can,
as well on them.
Yeah,
nights.
like it's annoying that the atmosphere is good for those games, but for most of the others it's not. But like, anyway, that's not the point. So yeah, against Dortmund, we had so many chances. I remember Cucurella had a chance he should have scored.
Yeah, you're all over them.
I think if you remember the goal that Sterling scored, it's probably the most Sterling goal you're ever going to see. That the ball comes to him, he mishits it, it bounces off Marco Reus straight back to him, he just slots it in.
Lucky.
Very lucky, but we'll take them. Yeah, and there were great limbs for that, to be fair. And then the second goal was a penalty for a handball, and Havertz takes it and hits the post and misses, and then it gets retaken for encroachment, which obviously is the rules, but the guy didn't really encroach that much, so we got a bit lucky there. But anyway, the point is that was one of the first games I saw under Graham Potter that I thought, yeah, I can see what we're doing now. Like, we're playing really well.
Yeah,
I'm buying into it a little bit. Obviously, as a Graham Potter hater.
You were on a run that week. You won 3 in a row.
Yeah,
I think
3 in a row it was. Yeah, and then but the thing is, the weird thing after that game, we didn't win for ages. So it doesn't really make sense to have a good little spell and then it mean absolutely nothing. But. So I'd say that was the best game of Chelsea season, and then for the worst game, I've got a lot to pick from. And I thought I was going to say Tottenham away because we lost 2-0, and it's the first time we've lost at their new stadium, so that's annoying to lose that record, which I was quite proud that we had that. But I think if I'm being objective about it, the worst game of Chelsea season is when they lost at home to Southampton, who were managerless, who obviously got relegated this year.
Yeah, they were on a horrible run as well.
Yeah, they have taken 6 points off us this season, which is outrageous.
Because didn't Ward-Prowse score a long-range
free kick,
of course.
Which it was a good goal, but I also wonder if there's a bit of Kepa being in net.
He got a hand on it, didn't he?
Yeah, let's just hit it and see if it goes in. But yeah, so I'd say Southampton was the lowest point. And yeah, for next season, I would say, assuming Chelsea get a good goalkeeper in and a good striker in, because obviously they're the two most important positions on the pitch, I would argue. I'd say that Chelsea should get I'd say Chelsea will get a top 4 spot next year, which obviously I've predicted.
Yeah.
But then if it's a case of if we've got Kepa in net and we're playing another false 9 with Nkunku, I'd maybe say 5th or 6th. It's so hard to predict because the top 4 is probably as competitive as it's ever been. There's so many teams competing.
Yeah.
But and we're going to say with a bit of blind optimism, we'll get top 4. I think Poch will do a good job. Even if we finish 5th or 6th, as long as we're competitive, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, I mean, that's all about Chelsea. So what about Man City? You've obviously got a lot more positive games to pick from.
I've gone for my best game as the 4-0 second leg against Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Just the fact that it was 1-1 coming into it. It was very much, the one at the Bernabeu was very much 50-50 from my point of view.
Yeah.
If anything, they were so slightly better.
Yeah, particularly later on.
Yeah, so the fact that coming into it, it was up for grabs, and we just sort of, I don't know, just I thought it was going to be a much tighter game than it was.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think everyone did. But you just swarmed them right from the start, didn't you?
Yeah, which was really nice to see. It was great to see us play like that. It was.
Yeah. Do you reckon that's your best performance under Pep?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Wow, that's some statement.
Yeah, probably. I was thinking it's the best I've seen him play under Pep.
Yeah. Close second. It's not as big, but the 6-3 against United, that was a good match.
Yeah.
The fact that, but it gets. Obviously, we kept a clean sheet against Real Madrid. The fact we let in 3 against that shit team.
You focus on that way too much.
Well, it's just so annoying though, because it was a dodgy penalty and some other shit goal. The Anthony goal was good, but apart from that, it could have been 6-1.
You really don't know how good you've got it, Luke. You've beat your biggest rival 6-3, and you're crying about it.
It wasn't 6-1. Sack Pep now.
Okay, so obviously, fair enough. That's a great pick for the best game. What about the worst game of the season?
The worst game would be Southampton in the Cup in terms of...
Stop the quadruple.
It was 3rd, 4th round.
Yeah, it was still early
there was still a long way to go. But it's a fact of also, it's just that we played so crap. Like, we were not good. That we didn't deserve to win, which is pretty much to say against
Nathan Jones.
I was about to say, genius.
Nathan Jones' Southampton, who finished rock bottom of the league.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we just weren't that good that day. And, yeah, it just wasn't... It was just a bit bleak.
Yeah, and as well, if you'd won that game and won that competition, which you could have, like, you would have won a quadruple.
Yeah,
like.
quadruple, which would have been... Obviously, it's the lesser competition
compared
to the FA Cup.
And as well, Man City lost, 6 games last year or something? Like,
There's not a lot of low points to pick.
But yeah, that probably is the standard.
Did you go undefeated in the Champions League? You did, didn't you?
We didn't lose in the group, so yeah.
Well, and you didn't lose in the knockouts either, yeah. So
no, drew in the knockouts. But
yeah,
I was just wondering if there was any more.
Not many, no.
Drew to Leipzig, drew to Real Madrid.
And then just slapped them in the second leg.
And drew to Bayern second leg, didn't you? Like,
yes, drew to Bayern second leg.
Interesting.
But yeah, so what about a prediction for next season then? Are you going to...
Well, I'd like to say, keeping the title to make it a 4-peat, which hasn't been done before, would be immense. It depends on how well Arsenal, Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool, how they all do next season. I'd like to say we do it, but
so what do you think though? Like, do you think, because you said Arsenal were going to win the league in the last time you did a prediction?
Yeah, I did.
You're already changing.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Like, it depends, doesn't it? Like,
yeah, obviously. I want a prediction, son.
Yes. Oh, go on then. Why not? Let's go all out. I predicted Argentina to win the World Cup. Got that right. Man City to win the Champions League. Got that right.
But now you've predicted Arsenal and Man City to win the league, so like one of them.
They're going to share it, are they?
Yeah, I'll just at the end of the season. I said that.
Yeah, clip the right one out.
Yeah.
And what about the Champions League? Because I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if City won it again next year.
Yeah.
If you look at, I don't think the quality in the Champions League is that good next season.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, your usual suspects like Bayern, Real.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, this year was probably the hardest run we've had.
Yeah.
In terms of the fact we had Bayern.
Yeah.
Who did we have before Bayern? Or was there after?
Well, you had Leipzig, Bayern. Or no, Leipzig, Real Madrid, Bayern, and then Inter. That was your run.
Yeah. But you've got Bayern and Real Madrid, and don't not get into Milan, a good team as well.
Well, they played well in the final as well.
Yeah, they played well in the final. That's two. But before them, two huge teams that could have, like, if we'd have got knocked out by them, it'd just be like, do you know what, fair play.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, like.
I think it's just for me the fact that you dominated Real Madrid and Bayern last season. You embarrassed them. I was like,
that's the thing. Like, I'm glad that. Well, for your sake, like when you won the Champions League, you actually had. You beat the best teams.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't like we just went on some piss poor run and beat like
Shakhtar, Benfica.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like it was an actual like challenge, so no one can knock it.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to see us win the Champions League again.
Would you?
Yeah, I think you will though. I think you'll probably win maybe a Prem and Champions League next year.
Match Forest doing 2 in a row.
You can have your 2 stars.
Yeah.
Wait, did Forest do it back to back?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did back to back. Well, they only got in the second time. They only got in because you'd won it the year before.
Yeah.
You won the league, got in the European Cup.
Yeah.
Won it didn't finish that high in the table.
No, but it's because we won it.
Because you won it, you were still in it.
2-time champions of Europe. You'll never sing that.
Yes.
Well, until next year.
Yeah. Okay, and then what about you, Rhys? What would you say that your best game?
Best game of the season is so easy. When we beat Arsenal to stay up. I know it's the boring answer because it's the obvious one, but nothing comes close. I mean, I was there because I didn't go to loads of games this season, but obviously it was the best Arsenal team in years. Yeah, they've blown the title, but I was saying to Andy last night, I've watched a lot of Arsenal this year.
I watched a lot of Arsenal this year.
Every time I've watched, I've been like, Forest will not get near that, and we made them struggle like hell that day. I think we caught them at the perfect time. Atmosphere was as good as you're going to find in the Prem. I'm certain of it. It was right from like we were celebrating winning a throw-in like it was a goal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so the fans were really up for it, and Arsenal just couldn't handle us. You could just tell they were demoralised. They didn't have Martinelli or Zinchenko.
Yeah.
We kept our shape, and Arsenal were just having to pass it around the outside. And Arteta said after the game, like, they could have played for 3 hours and not scored. And we pounced when we got the chance. Like, we had 18% possession, which I believe is the lowest total, or the second lowest total of possession that's won a game ever.
Wow.
Nice.
In the Prem.
Great start.
There was just an incredible game. Like, the adrenaline in the stadium was something else.
Yeah.
The way we played, like, we looked, even though we didn't have the ball, we looked confident.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it. Like, it was funny, like, Navas had been criticised for not claiming crosses. He must have claimed about 5 in that game. Just every player turned up is my point. Obviously,
nice.
Awoniyi got the goal. Gibbs-White nearly scored the goal of the season. He dribbled through the whole defence. And then it's weird. Ramsdale saved it. And then when he instantly played it out, Gibbs-White made a tackle and, like, fist pumped to the crowd like he'd scored.
Nice.
And, in injury time, I didn't feel that nervous. I was like, we're not going to let them score.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I'd say that's my highlight.
Well, like you say as well, it was a great time to play Arsenal. That their title was pretty much gone at that point.
You could tell they were demoralised.
And you had so much riding on it, so
yeah.
But you can't take anything away from
Yeah, it was
that.
an amazing. Okay, I'll say it. I preferred it to Wembley.
Really?
Better
Wow.
day. Yeah, honestly, better day than Home Stadium. Wembley was almost like an all-day piss-up with a football game in between. But this was like a
All about the football.
Yeah,
Fair enough. And then what about worst game of the season then?
how many? There's so many to pick because this season's been a drag and I never want to go through it again. But when we lost to Villa 2-0 away, because that was the day I accepted we were relegated.
Oh.
Because we were 11 games without a win. We'd lost to Wolves and Leeds, who at the time were in sort of the relegation fight. And it was like, we drew with Wolves. The point is we hadn't beat them, and it was like, okay, if we can't win these 6 pointers, we've got hard teams coming up.
Yeah,
we're done.
From, yeah.
So we had Villa, who were themselves on a great run under Emery. It was like, this is our last chance before our hardest run to get even a point would have given us a glimmer of hope. John Joe Shelby decides, I play for Villa now. Here you go, Bertrand Traore. He scored. Honestly, one of the worst errors you'll ever see. And after that, I was like, especially with our injuries rolling in, I was just like, there's no way even like Cooper's a good manager. There's no way he keeps us up now. And then, after that, it all changed. But it's funny how football works. But I'd call that the low point of the season. Getting battered by Leicester wasn't great either, but because they're like Midlands. But I'd say that was
that 4-0.
Yeah.
And that's when your manager got his
new
contract.
contract. So maybe it was a high point. But
Steve Cooper.
But I'm glad we ultimately, teams around us were changing their managers. We stayed loyal to ours and it paid off.
Yeah, you and West Ham.
Yeah, it's interesting how that's panned out, really.
Yeah, it is.
So,
And then what about a prediction for next season for Nottingham Forest?
Sorry, City, we're coming for you. No, I'd say as long as we don't have injuries, I'd say I don't see why we can't push for like 10th.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd say if I had to make a prediction, 11th, 12th, but the optimist in me says we can push into the top half of the table if we, again, injuries.
Okay, so you're not expecting another relegation scrap?
It's not impossible, but I think when we had a settled squad, we played well. And I think if we'll clearly invest, that's inevitable. I don't see why you look at like Brentford and Brighton, who have got promoted and they're just moving up and up each season.
Yeah.
I don't see why we can't replicate that in the coming years.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not going. We could be playing Championship football next year. But again, I'm optimistic. I'd say if I had to say an exact position, 11th.
Okay.
Nice.
Fair enough. And then what about? Who do you think is going to get relegated then, Rhys? Have you done predictions for the 3?
I don't know. I keep changing my mind. Based on the players Luton are getting linked with, I think they could break Derby's lowest points record. I really do. Like, obviously, the Kenny is an advantage. Seriously, they've beaten some good teams there. I just think their squad and the players they're linked with, they're not. Nothing stands out to me. I saw them linked with Paddy McNair the other day. Even Middlesbrough fans don't like him. I just think, so Luton I'm going to have to put bottom.
Rock bottom, yeah.
My other two, I would say, this is difficult, SHU. Because I think they're struggling financially and I don't think they're going to bring in anyone that good unless they bring in Kyle Walker, like was suggested. But it's just hometown club, innit? It's not like they would have, it's not like they've attracted him on the basis of being massive. It's really boring saying the two promoted clubs. Burnley will stay up, I reckon, because they've got a good squad and I think they'll continue to bring in quality, particularly if they can keep like Maatsen. I'll say the other relegated team will be... I was going to say West Ham because of the European distraction, but that's too much. I haven't really thought about it, I'm going to be honest.
Do you think Everton will stay up 3rd year in a row?
I feel like it's got to catch them up eventually, hasn't it? But a full year of Dyche. I will say Bournemouth because they've just sacked Gary O'Neill, haven't they?
Yeah, because it's funny, when we did our predictions, that was the main reason why I said Bournemouth are going to stay up. I was like, they've picked up all these points under him.
Yeah, but now it's like they've let him go. They've bought,
their new manager's
got. I've looked up their new manager. He's actually done quite well. He's been at Real something in
Sociedad, I think.
No. Valle.
Is it Valle? Yeah.
Yeah. And I know they've done all right. So maybe it'll work. But I'd say now
he's a good manager.
Yeah, but I just think you look at everyone else. I think a full year of Dyche at Everton could actually go quite well.
Yeah.
I'll say Bournemouth.
Okay, fair enough.
Compared to Gary O'Neill, who is just an interim.
Yeah, he'll probably get a good championship job. Though.
Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday maybe.
Oh.
Yeah, but anyway, who do you think's going to get top 4 then, Rhys?
Top 4, so it'll be Okay, can I say in order? Because I had to think about this last night.
That's good.
No, because like I had a prediction in mind.
Oh, okay.
But I've changed it a bit. City first.
Yeah.
Liverpool second.
Okay.
Because I think they're going to redeem themselves after the season they had last year. No European football to distract them.
Well, they've got Europa.
League. I forget they've got Europa.
And that's quite hard.
It is. Okay,
Thursday, Sunday.
I'm going to stand by it anyway. Second, Liverpool. Third, Arsenal. 4th, United. Sorry, Chelsea. I just think... Yeah, but then part of me's thinking, should I bump United up, but putting Arsenal 4th would be stupid. So I think the top 6-7 is looking very good.
It's hard to predict.
Because Spurs, and I'm backtracking on what I said about their new manager. Again, I've looked into this Postecoglou guy.
Celtic guy.
He's actually done very well wherever he's won trophies everywhere he's been.
Yeah, but where has he been? He's been at Celtic.
That's why I doubted it, because obviously he's been in Australia and Japan, and he managed the Australia national team. Overachieved with them, from what I can gather. My point is, every manager's got to start somewhere, and could go into somewhere like Spurs where he's not expected to win trophies.
Yeah, it could be quite a good fit.
I think they could get Europa and have maybe a good FA Cup run. But my point, we're talking about top 4, aren't we? My point is the fight for top 4 is going to be very good this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah, because I put Chelsea in my top 4.
Of course, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's my top 4.
Nice.
Yeah, fair enough. And I mean, I guess we'll wrap up this bumper episode right there with Rhys's top 4.
Are we not doing your 2's top 4?
We did it.
We've done it.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, we've done it a few weeks ago.
You should probably watch the podcast that I'm a part of. Nice.
So well, I hope you enjoyed this bumper episode, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you soon.
See you soon. See you next season.
Woo.
Bye-bye.